allocated down in the fight. Shields were already in big trouble before he even engaged with Septify. So an easy kill. Penguin picks up a huge double, could be a triple kill here, and it is. Huge triple from Penguin.
It's still a 2-kill advantage on the side of SSG, but now it's just 1. Now it's a tied game after the perfect coming in for precision. 5 kills to go on either side. And is that camo play going to come back to haunt SSG here?
Here comes precision also from Tires. Picks up 1, picks up 2. Huge point in the game to now lead 47-45.
He's looking for 3 onto Stellar as well.
Oh
Stellar gets taken down! The triple kill and the killing spree coming in for precision. It's 1 to go.
Oh my God.
It's going to be Envy, who go up by 2 in the series, having been down with just a few kills to go.
One foul swoop, and to be honest, I love that play there. They leave the ball at scoreboard while they make sure to slay and get camo, and they perfectly time it. Now that gives them the early opening lead.
This prioritization!
Oh,
precision by name, and precise was that second shot. 4 dead for Space Station Gaming. That was special.
You can tell we've all been there. Legend looks away, thought he had the kill easy. Instead, the kill doesn't get registered. He pays twice. Now some early points on the board here for the side of Gen G, as you say, and that's nice pressure from Ryan, who can pick up a third as well. It's a triple now, and honestly, with that set of kills and 4 dead, this actually could be the first hill. There's going to need to be immediate driveway pressure, or at least soda pressure coming in from Optic Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, they've got one more push here, Optic, if they want to make this push, or if they think about giving it up and rotating away. King Nick with that first pick. A few moments ago, they're going to correct that mistake, and they will get that first point on the board. So, even though Form will start to hit headshots, Optic are chasing the game early here. It's a killing spree for him. Breaking shot, gets his neck broken. Tracked Optic down. Through, I should say, from the depths of the elimination bracket, through some really tough series. He finds one, he turns it into 2, and now he grapples up because he wants some more.
Beautifully done. I mean, look at the way he's able to move around this map. Still no damage taken. That is not easy to fight a 1v2 out of top control, but somehow manages the micro and the mechanics to get away with both of them and his life.
Renegade at the moment is just asking where are Gen G, because he's flying around the map trying to find opportunities to hit some more shots. But now that he gets presented with one, you knew he wasn't going to miss. Oh! Right over again. Peaks tries to make the shot as difficult as possible and manages to do so. I did not even see it coming! But I certainly saw Ryan Oob, and so did Renegade. What a run that is from the Optic Gaming man. Not only hitting bodies, he's hitting heads, and Gen G, 4 dead off the respawn. Breaking shot the first, I would say, in the most brave to challenge!
Come on.
But maybe the most stupid to do so as well.
Unbelievable. The bomb doesn't arm, but the show continues. 3 still dead. He might have to run in. Let's see.
I'll do it myself.
You know what, guys? I'll take this one.
Renegade kills everyone. Renegade goes for the bomb arm as well. He's going to almost get it.
And he's moving it towards tower. 2 members of Nemesis have fallen. This is the opportunity. This is the moment to tie up the round. Snipe shot connects with the body. Snipe shot connects with Glory's body as well. And he hunts down the kill. Double kill, making a triple for Last Shot, taking over the round.
Absolute filth, dirty from Last Shot as he keeps the hopes alive of winning the series here. And now takes us to 1-1 here on Oddball Live Fire.
Team took the hill. Enemy team scored. Bomb taken. Bomb armed. Remaining. Bomb armed.
In round one, gets it off the map, and it's played. The play ball is going to be delayed because of the repulse into the air.
Yeah, just a very minor thing, but a very important one as well, especially with only 1 minute on the clock. And it gives your team more time to get bottom middle to compete with it. So good heads-up play from Frosty. Wootum's already down. It's going to be a 4 versus 3. And again, it's the sniper rifle in the hands of Rebellion. And again, there's a member of Nemesis dying to a no-scope. And I think that'll be the story for this mapping mode, is the no-scopes have been everything.
Enemy has the ball.
Sniper rifle has just been so influential.
Enemy team nearing
Stone cold killers in the hands of all these players. Royal 2 finds yet another face.
Just 12 more seconds now. Nemesis is one last push for them.
The final knockings for Nemesis.
red. Enemy team took the hill.
They have managed to get this next camo. It's going to move formal. He grabs it, pushes past that sniper rifle spawn as well. Just try and create a little bit of space, and I think he's going to be baiting TSM to go for this. But I haven't seen the opportunity to strike now. Formal gets the connection this time. Should turn it into a double. Manny's there for the triple. Formal gets 3. Grabs the snipe. Body struck, but no overkill today.
Man, he hit all the pieces there. I think as soon as you saw that triple in the repulse, you were hoping that it was going to happen, but in the end, they're not too worried about that. It's more continued dominance. Formal doing it flashy, and they also pick up more time on the ball as well.
Oh! Oh! Formal! Oh! Formal! The triple kill, the melee celebration! This man does horrible things from this tower on live
Enemy
fire.
halfway to
Back-to-back
victory.
triples for Formal, and he is lasered. No emotion on his face. And the green wall chant erupts in the building as they cross the 60-point mark.
Legend trying to pressure him, he gets bodied though. Legend keeps going forward,
win.
but it's 2 dead here for Optic. 2 to go for TSM to win this game. Fire Legend stays alive thanks to Renegade.
Oh
And we are
my.
seeing another insane conclusion to a Slayer here in this series. But at 49, TSM are 1 away. 40 bound. He gets the kill though. Renegade trying to hunt, trying to keep his teammate alive. It's 49-49, but it's TSM who will win the game 50-49. Avoid the reverse sweep and take down Optic Gaming. What an end to that series.
An unforgettable series with an unbelievable ending. Talik even exchanging words with some Optic fans.
Scrapping with the crowd.
Gets the damage, and the rest will follow!
Goodness! Overkill for Drippy!
That big shot coming in from Legend.
Hello and welcome back to day 2 of the HCS Open here at DreamHack in Dallas. We had some upsets in day 1, the brackets are skewed, the pools are all over the place. But we've got some more action today then with the open teams entering into those pools.
Yeah, the pools really are all over the place, but these open teams can change things. And of course, we're going to be focusing on BH3's arrival to Pool A to see whether they can just skew things a little bit more. Of course, we saw the dramatic ending last night. Optic Gaming losing out to TSM and effectively losing their first seed going into the rest of this tournament. But there is a chance BH3 could maybe take that away. If BH3 went on to win all 3 of their games, suddenly they'd be first seed. I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? This is the rest of the pools and how everything's looking at shows.
You can see we weren't lying when we said they were a little bit skewed. Optic Gaming lost to TSM yesterday in a upset, and they topped their pool at the moment. Shopify Rebellion, business as usual for them. Unbeaten Nemesis 1-1 in that pool. FaZe Clan and Envy both 2-0. Envy upsetting Space Station Gaming last night as well, Dan.
Yeah, so we've got Zero, Tenacity, Complexity, Ome, and Gen G, the 4 teams that are at risk when we look at the competition coming in from the open bracket. If those open bracket squads can't take down any of those 4 teams I just mentioned, they would effectively be knocking them out of the tournament. So a lot on the line in these first matches.
And we will be following the journey of BH3, like Dan mentioned, in Pool A, with Gen G being the most vulnerable team here, Dan, and they're up for game number 1.
Yeah, I do think that BH3 have a real chance against Gen G. Gen G didn't necessarily look like, the strongest of teams yesterday, but at the same time, they have been working on a lot of their flaws. So I think that they'll maybe be encouraged by the fact that BH3 are coming through from the elimination bracket of the Open, and perhaps they can take them down.
And if you're a fan of BH3, or if this is your first introduction to them, they are the 3rd-seeded European team that qualified. You might see some familiar faces across the board as well. Septic is there from J-Lings all the way back in year 1 and 2. Mo's a pillar of the European community, you might say, with a couple of French young guns in there to complete the squad.
Yeah, so the return of Septic, I think, is the important factor for this squad. For all the talk about mouse and keyboard players and Wootum, Septic also playing on the keys, I believe. I mean, I don't think he switched back to, but it looked, just judging by the angle of the keyboard.
The keyboard is turned just a touch.
The angle of the keyboard and the fact it's lit up means that it's his keyboard. So I think that we will be seeing Septic on mouse and keyboard, so very interested to see how he will play, because of course he went through the whole of open bracket playing on Xbox, and then moves over to compete now on PC, so that's going to be exciting.
And for Mo's, he's been trying to get back here for a long time. There's been a little bit of a cool down period for him, trying to build a squad, get the right reps in, then really challenge teams in that open bracket. And finally, Moses back here where he will feel he belongs.
Yeah, back onto the main stage. The real question for BH3 is, can they avoid becoming BH03? Right, you don't want to just walk into pool play from open bracket and then suddenly get absolutely walloped by everyone who's already found themselves in this kind of championship side. And their first test is going to be Gen G. And would you think that this is the best option for them to have game 1 here? Or would you think that maybe they warm up with an Optic Gaming or a TSM? Because, you look at what happened yesterday, and I think typically you wouldn't want to come into this pool. But after what happened, I'd be saying, yeah, I think Pool A, actually, maybe we can make a little shake-up here.
Well, I think if you're talking about confidence and momentum being huge things, I think you're looking at Gen G coming off the back of 2 losses. Their confidence and their momentum should be low. BH3 going through that gauntlet of the open bracket, they should be on the up and maybe catching Gen G a little bit cold here. But here is the series layout, Dan. What have you got your eye on?
I think CTF Aquarius is a really good way to start for both teams warming up on the day, just because it is quite a fast-paced map and, of course, 5 flags to work with as well. So even if you struggle to begin with, you've got a chance to get back into the game. We saw it yesterday, a team going 3-0 down, but then suddenly walking back in with a 3-3. So I think this will be a brilliant start for both teams just to get warmed up.
Make no mistake about it though, BH3 will be the underdog in this series. The reward for making it all the way through the open bracket, Dan, it doesn't get much easier. You then play against the top dogs, the big guns. And Gen G, although vulnerable, they're still a top squad.
Yeah, I don't want to underestimate Gen G. I know how good they are, and I am expecting them to get through pool play. But I guess it is shields up, it's weapons up. We are underway here at Saturday at DreamHack Dallas at the HCS Open. And I'm excited to see how the open teams do. That's always the best part of pool play. It's just seeing what happens when they arrive into the pools.
3 dead for BH3. A pretty tough start. Sunrise doing what he can to do as much damage and waiting for his teammates to spawn back up. Ryan Noob got the flag over the halfway line. And Mo's fighting for the back foot. Both players down to no shields. As Common backs away and opts to play his life instead. Septic in the front, base down to no shields. Gives him the wiggles. The mouse and keyboard coming out. Will Common be able to spare his bushes? Yes, he does, but Moses there to capitalize and get the kill. Breaking shot moving this flag forward. He's down numbers though. And Sunrise is going to stop that with a fresh 5 to the back.
Mose takes him down as well. It's temporarily all 4 down on the side of Gen G. And here is Septic. Now, the reason why I pointed him out is he wasn't on this BH3 roster last event. He was a new inclusion for the qualification process to get here. And, of course, mouse and keyboard. We've always got to shout out the mouse and keyboard players. I think Scoob also qualified with Mindfreak, right? So we now have 3 mouse and keyboard players in pool play.
I think Rice as well actually plays on mouse and keyboard.
Yes, we've got 4
yeah,
there.
4 mouse and keyboards total. They're starting to take over. They're a plague, Dan.
That's one way to look at it. As a true controller player yourself.
Yeah, I'm a control pad purist. They don't belong here. Breaking shot, he doesn't belong where he is standing right now in the courtyard either. Sunrise trying to do damage to the player in Fridge. Double kill, all 4 dead for BH3 now. This is spelling danger for the French, the English, and the Maltese man.
How do you spell danger in French?
Actually, is it just danger with like an accent somewhere?
Danger.
Is it le danger? Mo doesn't actually want to be called Maltese, I remember.
He's Italian.
He prefers Italian. So I'll apologize to him here and now.
Hear me out. Do you think Breaking Shot looks a little bit like Louis V. Titan's brother?
I could see it across the eyes. I can see it across the eyes.
Yeah, and the flat peaks I think helps as well. Anyway, Common's just gone down. Breaking Shot will also be taken down by Mose as well. So 2 dead from the side of Gen G. It's another camouflage for the sneaky beaky master himself, Rhino.
Flag getting returned. You have to wonder, Dan, they had BH3 all 4 dead, and that flag didn't get punched in. There are errors and mistakes that are being made early on here. BH3 can capitalize on that.
Yeah, will it come to bite them in the backside a little bit? Mose has been winning a lot of 1v1s, I will say that for him. We know that he has an incredible aim. He gets into those individual fights, so if he can keep getting aggressive at the right times and taking down some of these Gen G members, it might just create enough space for BH3 to possibly get into the base and get a flagpole of their own.
Common drops down to car jump. Septic is bottom middle. He spots him out. Septic just doesn't look the right way. Sometimes you have to look left and right before you cross the road, or exactly leave the bottom middle area. Bastos in the closet, down to no shields. Breaking Shot will stand there with him, and he's quite happy to just stand still.
You should have known he's in America. You look right then left.
Oh, of course.
Europeans, they just can't get it right when they're over here in North America.
Not making it right either. 4 dead at the moment, and their flag is on the move. This one should get punched in. This should be the opening and the capture for Gen G. Sparing any complete blunders. Mose is going to fall in the closet, and they've got to clear out King Nick from this closet area, or he could further compound their misery.
Yeah, King Nick just absolutely demolishing him there. The longer he controls closet is just going to be so awkward. At least they do get the trade. I think we saw this a few times from several teams yesterday, just constantly pushing into the Gen as Ryan screams across at Mose. I said Mose had been winning some 1v1s, but that's now 2 that have gone in favor of Gen G. And you get to see that perfect medal now on the kill feed as well, just to add extra misery. Ryan still screaming at people.
Screaming at people from the death screen. It's good to see him very passionate this early in the morning as well. He's had his tea, his coffee, his Weetabix, whatever it is, it's working.
Well, he knows that this is an important game, right? If Gen G lose this series, they're out of the tournament. Simple as that. Can't qualify if you go 0-3, so they have to beat BH3 here, and then hope that BH3 don't go on to beat the likes of TSM or the likes of Optic Gaming, and then end up in some sort of weird 3-way, two-way tie.
Both flags pulled out for the moment. As Gen G are actually 2 dead at the moment. Common's going to push up over towards the B side. Sunrise will get the flag all the way back now to his own Fridge stairs. Bastos will pick it up. This is good prioritization from BH3. Capitalizing on damage put down. They have to get the return here though. They should be able to. Nobody in position to really put a stop to this. 1-1 now, the score.
Sunrise just had to do everything. Literally had to drop the flag, return the flag, cap the flag, avoid all the bullets. He does get the job done, but maybe a counter-cap opportunity now available for Gen G. Especially with Breaking Shot being able to take this position. BH3, I think, is sending 2 players around, and yes, okay, they will be able to shut him down. Now Common has his opportunity to take a fight.
I have to say, BH3 have been clinical, Dan. They've had that one real opportunity to get that flag capture, and they've capitalized on it. And you need to do that against squads like Gen G. You have to try and wobble them a bit, throw them off their axis, make them uncomfortable if you're going to cause an upset.
Similarly, I think the reason why, Brian Noob's not only shouting because he's hitting good shots, but I think you want to try and get in the heads a little bit nice and early of the team that's arriving from the open bracket. Just let them know that they're in big boy land now. And it isn't going to be an easy ride, and every fight is going to be a difficult one. Brian Noob again, happy to challenge against Mose as well. Certainly feeling confident right now. Oh, he hit the wall. Might have hit.
The help of the thruster pack means King Nick can win that fight. Unfortunately for him, all 4 dead now. Sunrise was up for the moment, and he's got camouflage in his chest. He's pushing forward. 2 players spawn over towards closet. Mose should have that information to help the audio cues. Septic gets a kill. King Nick's gonna fall once again. Septic get a double kill. Sunrise putting down more damage. The flag's on the move. This is perfect for BH3.
Yeah, that flag's already moving. Bastos has got maybe Ryanoob to get through, who's already in the base. Does he know it? Doesn't matter. Ryanoob might not be able to get there in time, and he won't. So BH3 will take the lead here, 2-1. Ryanoob again is going to try and go for the capture. He gets a double kill to go alongside it. Real question is, can they get this one moving this time? Common is going to be there to help him. Sunrise, the last remaining player, so it looks like a counter could happen.
BH3 did put a lot of resources into that flag capture. They've been punished now on the counter attack. So although Gen G lose a flag, they gain one. 2-2 the score into the final 5 minutes.
Who is it who called Sunrise Sunriz?
It was probably Wes. He likes to do that.
I kind of like it though. Sun's out today providing some riz. Breaking shot now, seeing 3 members of BH3 down, does start to move the flag, but quickly drops it because they want to start worrying about the spawners. Good shots.
Solid shots. You can now drive this flag forward. Sunrise trying to do damage. They'll make it through to bottom middle. Just cutting off those angles, ensuring no more damage could be taken. All the good work BH3 put in has become undone. As now Gen G retake the lead.
Brilliant play from Breaking Shot though, initially pulling that flag, dropping it, recognizing that his bullets and his damage was going to be important for that whole passage of play. But then as soon as he'd done enough damage, he said, look, I'm just going to get my head down and start moving this flag. He was one shot, but I think he put his head down in real life. It must have helped as well. Now he's got camouflage to work with. 3 minutes and 48 seconds left on the clock here, so still time for BH3, but Gen G in the ascendancy.
The issue is that BH3 are playing Halo on the wrong side of the court. Now another flag's pulled out. Breaking Shot trying to make it over the halfway point. He's managed to prioritize staying alive here as well, as Septic and Mose are on staggered spawns. Bastos trying to do damage from the shroom stairs, but he's going to fall as well. And you can tell they're desperately trying to prioritize the flag there, but that means that all the meanwhile they're taking damage from everywhere else. Trying to toss this flag up. Shades in the phase plan tossed up yesterday, but they fumbled it this time to do Gen G. But no issue, no concern. 4-2 the score.
Breaking Shot's just hitting so many comfortable shots that anyone who goes into a bandit battle with him has been really turned over. It does get the kill though, and the flag is on the move for BH3. And there's 2 down on the side of Gen G, and a fresh spawner just got taken down by Septic. This is looking like it's probably going to be 4-3, so still life here for BH3.
An immediate response from BH3, putting us back within 1 capture now. Setting up a grandstand finish. Do BH3 now have enough in the tank? Sunrise is in the base. They have the people in positions to really capitalize on this now.
2 members of Gen G moving freely together over towards P, but Septic is going to be behind enemy lines. Mo's also trying to do the same. BH3 are just a nuisance to play against right now. I think that's maybe Gen G just a little bit confused as to why players are in certain positions. It's Breaking Shot again, the true threat to BH3. As long as they shut him down, really helps them with their push.
And you can see what the tactic and strategy is. BH3 are having to defend their closet time and time again from Breaking Shot. If you don't deal with that threat, he will punish you. Septic's running the flag now though, and he's got it towards the closet, which means Common can no longer do damage to him. But 2 members of Gen G inside the base now. Septic's gonna have to delay here. It's gonna be a brawl on the flag. Septic has got to toss it towards the bridge. Common closes the distance. Common closing down. Septic now, who's down to no shields, desperately trying to stay alive. This flag should go home.
Should do, but how about the next? Can they get a return on this one as well? They're gonna keep moving it. Common, who didn't cap a single flag last event, has already capped one. And it looks like he might be able to get another here.
2 kills go in favor of BH3, which means Common has to delay this. Breaking shot goes down, as does Common. Here's the moment, all 4 dead.
Sunrise quickly whips in and wicks that flag out as well. Somehow, someway, BH3 are still in this one. Great damage working together to stop that flag right on the point.
But Sunrise prioritized running the flag instead, hoping someone else would be in position to get the return. He didn't stay there. He didn't make the return himself. And as a result of that, Gen G were able to keep it alive. Sunrise is going to try and juggle this flag up the stairs, but unfortunately, their flag is still in enemy territory.
So we get a little flag standoff, 40 seconds remaining, but of course there is a lead at the moment for Gen G, so BH3 are the ones that have to make a move and try and get a return here. Sunrise does get the opener. Mose goes down though as the response. It's a 3v3, and Septic going down here. BH3 are on the ropes.
The impetus is really on BH3 to be the aggressor, but unfortunately for them, Common's in their base. And he deals with Sunrise, combining with Breaking Shot, gets the melee onto Mose as well. This flag will go home. Gen G will claim game 1.
It was a tough old first game for Gen G. BH3 pushing them to their limits. But how important could that victory be in this series? You talk about momentum, you talk about trying to make up for maybe a disappointing day yesterday for Gen G. Maybe they can get back on track now and start looking towards that possibility of a championship bracket. Even though it's only one, I think it was such an important victory to have. Otherwise, you really give the confidence right over to BH3, who of course going to have momentum behind them from yesterday.
There was a wry smile from Ryan up there. We've seen him in the game getting loud. BH3 almost caused the upset in game 1. They show resilience. They capture the win. And do you feel, Dan, that that's something for Gen G to build upon now? Because if the result had gone the other way, all of a sudden you find yourself down by 1. If you lose a Slayer, now you're in big trouble and the red lights start flashing. It's Mayday, Mayday. But now you can settle the ship, you can settle the nerves. You've won game 1.
Yeah, I think you have to come into this series with the possibility of losing a Slayer against a team like BH3, who have such good individual skill and the ability to just run you down and take 1v1s. But then, after seeing what Breaking Shot was doing in that game, I'd be pretty scared about going up against any gunfight. Even Ryanoob was winning some pretty pivotal 1v1s as well. I think this is going to be a huge confidence builder for them, not just for this series, but potentially for the rest of the tournament. So, unless BH3 really come out guns firing in this next Slayer and like 50-25 them or something, and maybe the writing might be on the wall for this one. Just seems to be that little bit of extra teamwork on the side of Gen G, and to be expected. You know, BH3 only recently making the change, adding Septic back into the fray. Septic took a pretty extended break from Halo Infinite, so there's going to be a lot of things for him to start to piece together once more, but he didn't look out of place, I will say that.
He's got reacquainted and reacquainted very quickly. His call tag, Dan, is Unk. Maybe paying homage to the age that he's currently at now. He's a veteran, he's well experienced, and sometimes that's what you need in these big series.
Worries me because Septic started competing after I did, so well, if he's Unk, what am I?
Granddad.
Oh dear, that's... Then what's Walshy?
Oh god.
Walshy's in the ground.
Dust.
God knows what Wes is. But yeah, Septic back in, and another mouse and keyboard player just to show what they're worth on that main stage. But Gen G will take game 1 5-3. So we move over to Slayer Streets, and I do think that this could be a good one for BH3. They like to play that, you know, quick sliding round corners play style, typical to the old TSM style that we used to see back in the day. And if they do just fly at Gen G, don't allow Ryanoob and Breaking Shot to have too many 1v1s. They have an opportunity here to take this.
And make no mistake about it, the difference between these teams won't be the gun skill, won't be the individual talent, it will just be the teamwork. But BH3 have been playing this map mode combination since its inception. They'll know the keys to success, the recipe for victory, and sometimes it is just keeping them on staggered spawns, keeping them cycled, and I've seen enough from BH3 that they can make this next game competitive.
Yeah, I think Sunrise and Bastos will be holding hands just as they have done for the last however many years, whether it's here on Halo Infinite or if it was back in Halo 5. They were running matchmaking throughout Europe for quite some time. But I think they'll be pretty happy with how they performed in that one. I know it's It's always going to be disappointing when you lose your first game against the team that's currently in 3rd place in the pool because you feel like it's your best chance, and then you have to follow up against TSM and then Optic. It's almost like the oppositions get harder each time, or at least they should.
It's a Mortal Kombat ladder.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? Who is the final
Until you
boss?
play
though?
against Goro.
And is that Optic Gaming, or is it TSM? After TSM took down Optic, now are they the biggest threat in this pool? It's tough out here.
It's a slow, gradual climb, and it's not getting much easier. But you have to say, a massive congratulations to the 4 open teams that made it through, because it's never easy to get here. But unfortunately, the road doesn't get much easier either. But there's optimism for BH3. Played very well in that game 1, and very well could have won it, but for a few errors and mistakes made along the way. But game 2 could be a different story. This could be where Gen G find real form and real firepower.
Well, I'll be keeping an eye on Ryanoob when we go into his Slayer. I mean, he's always been pretty good at Slayers, but in Arlington, he was averaging 1.4 KD across Slayers in general. Everyone else on the team was hovering around just the single KD. In fact, Breaking Shot and Common were both negative, which is surprising, but also, I guess, not surprising at the same time when you look at Gen G's matches and where they finished. But they did stick together. Also important.
Obviously seen enough that they think there's building blocks here, there's a foundation that we can build on. And perhaps these are the series now they need to win. Of course, they are 0-2 in pools. They are vulnerable to being eliminated and not even making it to that championship bracket. So still all to play for. They win this series, Dan. They're in the competition and they make it into the elimination bracket.
Interestingly, King Nick actually has the most kills per minute from the team, and he deals the most damage, but it's Ryanoob who typically gets the better KD.
I know what that means.
Yeah.
I know what that means.
I mean,
He's waiting to hear one shot here, no problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And also, Ryanoob is also one of those players that is typically looking for the flank, so he's going to die a little bit less, takes a little bit longer to root round.
I know that playstyle all too well.
Sadly, so do I. To be fair, that was my playstyle. Throughout Halo 3, that was what I was known for, was just flanking. And then sadly, you come into Halo Infinite where you can leave your team very vulnerable if you flank too often. So it really needs to be a planned flank. Not too many maps allow for too long to be taken, otherwise you just leave your team in a 4 versus 3.
Mine are not planned flanks. They're very long. They're very arduous.
You just spawn. I think you
I just
spawn.
stroll.
No, you spawn. You see where the team is, and you run the other way. You say, "It seems like you've got that over there."
It sounds like you're
C.
fighting over there. I can shoot them in the back
I'll
eventually.
go A. I'll get round. And you know what? Sometimes it works.
Most of the time it doesn't. That's the
All
issue.
3 of us die. You come through, get an overkill, and you're like, "See, guys."
I've
And
done
we're
my
like,
job. I
yeah,
got your
they-
trades. Got your trades, boys.
Yeah, but they've just gained 50 points in the Stronghold shows.
Looking at Ryanoob though, Dan. All that experience. You speak about his playstyle and how he's maybe had to adapt his style because, of course, seen great success in Season 1. Getting top 2s and 3s with E United. But his fortune has changed as the meta's developed and as players have caught on.
Yeah, Ryanoob, I wouldn't say it's a fall from grace for him. Because he's still at the very top of Halo. You know, he's still getting teams that get into the top 12, into the top 8, competing for top 6 at times, but is often just looking for that new squad, that new iteration, that next team to take him back up. But it's so hard when you look at the top teams right now and the ability on those rosters. And sure, you can find up-and-coming players, but at the, like, I mean, Breaking Shot, for example, great player that's been introduced to this squad, but when you look at the likes of Renegade and Frosty, everyone who's just jumping on opposition, like, how can you even compete with that when you're trying to build a new squad? And I do appreciate that they've stuck with it because I think the chemistry is everything, but when you're already in that chasing pack and you're quite a significant way behind, you're playing catch up for the whole year.
I think it has to be said as well. Penguin on the sofa yesterday, he was talking to us and he mentioned how 2 players he's playing with, they're a little bit more moldable now because they don't have that egos. They have the egos in their ability, but not in strategy and tactics, and when you get to those big series, and perhaps that's what Ryanoob's trying to do. He's trying to unearth them gems that can carry him back to the promised land.
Do they start to glance over towards Europe again? Legend already stolen from our midst.
From our grasp.
I mean, he won a championship. Well, he literally won a world championship.
Yeah, we can't really begrudge him.
Can't really blame him.
It's like when your favorite player at your football club leaves for pastures and you, and then he goes on to dominate the rest of the sport. You still feel a little bit salty. It was Cristiano Ronaldo for me.
Thierry Henry left for Barcelona.
Yeah, and they went on and seen
But they
success
both
upon
came
success.
back.
They did. They arrived back, although our clubs were much different at the time.
The year is 2042, and Legend returns to compete alongside SLG again. Quadrant .7. You can see the players starting to load in and get ready now as Septic leans forward. His wrist snapped to the left to make sure he can hit his keyboard, that it is angled in an incredible way.
You reckon he gets the ruler and stuff out and starts measuring exactly where it needs to be?
I do wonder that. I mean, there's a lot of Counter-Strike players here. I'm sure they will be able to tell you just what they do. It is something that has developed from
Because
PC games, of course.
Well, I mean, controller players head case over their sensitivities and stuff, and you imagine that, oh, I didn't hit that shot, I didn't quite move well there, and maybe I need to adjust my keyboard by a half an inch.
Rhino's got a double kill off the rip yet again. Make it a triple. Tell you what.
Uh-oh. (4-3) the score. That game started very quickly.
Almost too quickly.
Where did Ryan Noob come from?
Rhino spawned mid-map.
I think Ryan Noob spawned before everybody else. But none of that matters now as we're all tied up. You can see Mo's remonstrating his camera, although that is Sunrise's POV. Here's Bastos now. Camouflage is going to be burned. Looks as though it didn't get popped, although I see something on the ground shimmering. Uh-oh. That's a camouflage going into the chest of Gen G, and perhaps that's something that BH3 would like to address again.
King Nick has a Stalker rifle, but he will get shut down by Bastos, so that's important. Bastos actually got a double kill here. He's going to get cleaned up. BH3 just need to make sure they don't allow Gen G to get too comfortable with a lead here, because if Gen G can start to control this game, pick up the Stalker rifle, start to get camouflage after camouflage, it could get a little bit ugly.
Uh-oh.
Septic wasn't even aware that anyone was there, probably despite Mo's calling him out. Sometimes you're just so trained on the battle that you're already in. For a mouse and keyboard player, usually you can just flick and look to the right though, so I am surprised.
Sometimes you're right. I think you just have tunnel vision for the person you're already shooting, and you hope to God that player in red room goes away. Unfortunately, he was going nowhere with the Stalker rifle in hand as well. 4-kill advantage now. Septic over towards the pink side. Get some damage to the common after getting the kill on the King Nick. So not much separating them here. Camouflage could be massive. Shroud screen goes down. Septic throws a grenade towards B. Steps and tries to back away into the cover of darkness. The Shroud screen just covering his escape. King Nick spotted him out though. He tried to be clever. He tried to make it a little bit overcomplicated. All 4 dead for BH3.
Gen G now can look to surround them yet again and just wait for them to come out of Tram here. And it does seem like Ramp is it's just a death trap at the moment. 3 dead again. That is a big lead now for Gen G. And BH3, Septic's able to hide away here. Septic can do a lot, but he is going to leave the rest of the team behind. At least he gets one.
Two dead for Gen G, so perhaps an opportunity for BH3 to build on that. They can just keep these spawns staggered. Bastos is over towards the cafe. Breaking shot, sees that, notices it, but gets taken down anyway. Septic will put another one on the board. Coming down to no shields over towards pink, or at least a bullet or two should put him away. That lead has been cut down now to 5. But Gen G be quite happy now just to keep some distance between both teams, happy to take the trades now and really make BH3 work for these kills. Again, 2 kills traded out apiece means the distance remains 5.
Still, gap being closed is brilliant for BH3 because they were allowing Gen G to get a little too far away from them. The game slows down a little bit with Camo coming up. Sunrise takes down Common, so now it's just a 4-kill gap. Breaking shots also fall into Mo's, and King Nick's going to be the next target. He does have a Stalker rifle, though. They really need to shut him down, which they do. 29-26, this Camo now up and available. Fun fact about Septic, did you know he teamed with Ninja? and competed on 5 when Ninja came and played in Europe for an event. Did you know that?
That's a throwback.
It is a throwback.
What game was it?
I think it was Halo Reach.
Halo Reach. Was Ninja's intention to come and dominate Europe? Did they win some events?
They did win the event, yeah.
So Ninja is 1-1 in Europe. 1 played, 1 won. That's a lot of ones, I've said.
Wouldn't he be 1-0?
No, I'm saying he played 1 and he won 1.
Right,
so he's 1 for 1.
Right, just misleading, I think. 4 dead for Gen G. BH3 now will take the lead, and that camouflage really helped them push the pace a little bit, being able to shut down Gen G, who were over towards Tram, and now they're going to be spawning over towards PD.
Game does slow down. We head towards the business end. Fighting over towards B stairs. Moses is going to fall, as is Sunrise. Bastos trying to do as much damage as he can, uses the repulse just to create a little bit of distance between him and the member of Gen G, but unfortunately there was another player sitting on B rails, was able to get the kill. Common puts 5 shots into Sunrise, they all connect, and the last one finds a face to confirm a kill. Now a 3-kill differential with Gen G retaking the lead. The pendulum swinging back and forth now.
Tale is old as time when it comes to European rosters sometimes. Just when you think they're about to run away with it, take the lead into their advantage, the other team is just able to find that moment to get back on top again. It is often the difference between some of these North American sides, as they just have a way to dig deep and go deeper into that playbook, you know? 38-37 though. 2 players kind of stuck over towards Courtyard here, and I mean, King Nick, can he get the melee? No!
Victory.
Thought that was going to be a guaranteed kill.
1 kill now, the point of difference. It's BH3 who hold that center advantage. Camouflage has just popped up. And it's being popped into somebody's chest. The stock rifle now being used against Breaking Shot and indeed Gen G. Mose and Bastos combined to get a couple of kills. 3 dead momentarily for Gen G. This is good news for any European fans. Indeed, European players in the server.
Oh, nice.
It's a nice trade. Over towards Laundry now. They just spot out the camouflage pair now. Bastos is in big trouble. He's going to fall. King Nick gets Mose as well. The 4v2 on the map for a moment. They have the information. Septic's over towards PD. Mose has just spawned there as well. Here comes the collapse.
Oh, nice.
Great shots, great damage coming out of Septic. He drops down, gets another kill. Huge from Septic.
Yeah, big kills from Septic, but it's 47-44. So Gen G certainly still in this one, but BH3 is slowly but surely crawling their way towards victory here. O's laying down some damage onto King Nick. You can see backing off. They're trying to stay together. They're trying to find the roaming players of Gen G, and they do get one onto Breaking Shot.
Remaining.
This one's not over though. We've seen leads like this being flipped. Septic though, more great damage from the mouse and keyboard player. The Englishman has been a turret, and they get the final kill. They tie up the series. 1-1 now the score.
And that really does show just how important that capture the flag victory was for Gen G. As I mentioned, you go into the Slayer, you're always going to be concerned that these teams that are hot from the open bracket are just going to be shooting and firing well. But you got to remember, BH3 were down by 9 kills at one point. Great resilience to get back into that matchup. You can see Septic just nodding along. Smo's chugging his soda. What time is it?
Is that a soda? Like is it a soda or a black coffee? It could be either one.
Maybe both.
We'll have to ask.
I did actually have like a soda coffee for the first time the other month.
That sounds like terrible for everything.
I don't know if I'm like allowed to say brand names of sodas, but yeah, it was quite nice.
Taking a look at the stat sheet then. Septic. It looked like he was doing a lot of damage, and yes, he was. 4,100, tied with Breaking Shot. Pretty much on the other side. A 6-kill differential in the end. That was much better for BH3. Game 1, they could have won it. Game 2, they do win it.
The sad reality is for any of these open teams coming into full play is Slayers, you are always going to be on a level playing field, I think. But it's the objectives of where this series is truly won, because there's 3 of them. Win both the Slayers, but if you're not getting the objectives done, then even if you are having great individual fights, even if you are winning every single bandit engagement you have, if suddenly there's a flag you have to worry about or strongholds that you have to worry about, it's quite difficult to win these series. But I will say capture the flag maybe is well, it is very different to like a Strongholds or a King of the Hill, for example. Maybe a Strongholds would be good for this BH3 roster, because you can kind of move and groove while you're killing at the same time, depending on the map. Maybe Recharge isn't the best one, because it's a little bit more static. Like a live fire might be a little bit better. Sadly, it's Recharge.
It's Recharge. But I can tell you, considering Quadrant pushed the meta, and there were 4 French players, they do have half the squad being French, and perhaps maybe some of that information has been passed down. Maybe there's something in the water in Viva La France. Confirmation of what we did see, 5-3 Aquas CTF, 5-3. 50-44 Slayer Streets, and like you say, Dan, on the horizon, Strongholds Recharge. Now I want to mention something about the open bracket teams as well. We highlighted yesterday some of the teams we were keeping an eye on, and it was actually Ether we thought were going to make it through and really cause some ruckus in the pools. But they actually got eliminated by Mindfreak last night. So it just goes to show you there's no guarantees in that open bracket. If you don't bring your A game, you will get dumped out on your head.
Yeah, even though we're starting to see familiar names and faces break through the open bracket, I think Mindfreak actually consistently doing it now, aren't they? I mean, they're one of the most impressive teams. They're begging for a spot to get seeded into pool play, I'm sure.
I think they're saying, can you stop making us do this open bracket
Honestly,
thing?
though, but like if you think back to Mindfreak's history and the history of Aussie teams coming out anyway, often they would get 0-3'd in pool. You're having way more fun playing through the open bracket and then getting into pool play because then you're warmed up. I personally think I would rather that. I don't know. Maybe I'll speak to them. Maybe we can interview them and see how they feel about it.
Well, I think for a sheer confidence thing, actually getting into an open bracket, getting some wins, going on a run, feels much better. It has to feel much better.
You get to play more Halo.
Exactly. Whereas if you get into a pool with Optic Gaming, TSM, you're getting dominated for large portions of it. What do you really learn from watching your respawn screen time and time again?
Exactly. I mean, even you've heard of teams trying to scrim some of the biggest squads that are out there, and you get halfway through it, and you're wondering what are we learning by getting 50 to 20'd? You know, you really need to go back, look at that VOD, and actually be able to analyze what the other team's doing. Because sometimes it's not about what you're doing wrong; it's about what they're doing right. Teams like Optic and Shopify will really punish you and force you into positions that you're not typically comfortable with and that you're not used to playing out of.
And the crazy thing is we mention Optic Gaming and Shopify Rebellion because they are the pinnacle, they are the benchmark of what it takes to win championships. But then you think, well, Optic Gaming lost in pool play last event, they've lost in pool play again this event, so they're not even flawless.
I just think it's a strategy at this point for Optic Gaming. You know, we'll lose a pool play game, and we'll drop into elimination bracket, and then we'll win the entire thing.
They do not like to do it the easy way. At the moment, Gen G not doing it the easy way either. 1-1 in the series. BH3 have been more than competitive, taking that game, and that will do their confidence the world of good.
Back in Arlington, when you look at Strongholds, the key player, arguably breaking shot, on average was getting 1.87 kills per minute. If you're good at maths, you can work out how many kills that might be on average. I'm not doing it for you.
Don't look at me.
Brian Noob, the biggest damage dealer, though. So those are going to be the 2 players you want to keep an eye out for if you are BH3 here.
Septic rocking a little stash there.
It's starting to come through. Unk's starting to grow his first muzzy.
I see some fist bumps around, so that must mean we're not long before loading into Game 3. And what do you want to see from Gen G here? How do they bounce back in this third game?
A win.
Yeah.
But do I want to see it, or is that how they're going to bounce back? The answer is yes. They would obviously need a victory. I think that you need to show your element of control that we saw in Aquarius capture the flag. Get hold of A and B, or B and C, whichever strategy you want to go for, and then just force BH3 back into spawn and don't allow them to rotate freely. Make them make mistakes. Make them try and go for a long haul push that you could just absolutely destroy with a couple of grenades. But at the same time, if you are BH3 here, I think you want to make this a little bit of a scrap. I think you want to get quite hectic with this one. Maybe push the barrier a little bit. Go for those trip caps. Try and make those spawns look a little bit weird so that this isn't your traditional Strongholds Recharge game.
BH3 earning their spot through the open bracket and proving in this series they belong here. The difference being sometimes maybe in the objective game modes, the strategy won't be as ironed and clad and as well thought out as the North American teams. just get more consistent, better
Enemy
practice.
team scoring.
It is BH3 who have the better of the early engagements here. They control A and B. They're the ones scoring for now. Mo's going to come in the collapse. Can he get away? The answer is no. Common will hit him on the jaw. That puts Mo's in the respawn screen. They're going to spawn out over towards long haul. B and C now flipped. BH3. So Gen G have got to contest B, and they're starting to do that now. And nobody there from the European team able to contest it. They're opting instead to prioritize A.
For good reason as well, I think. Like the AC hold sometimes. King Nick is sneaky with it. It does hit the perfect, but all 4 dead on the side of Gen G. So BH3 now have the freedom to push B and watch over towards pipes where these spawns are going to be.
These pesky Europeans, they know how to play a stronghold, I promise you that. Do not take them lightly. You will be at your own peril. Breaking shot gets a trade with Sunrise. Mo's now positioned top tower.
Septic showing another one of those mouse and keyboard things that Royal 2 was talking about when he was actually up here for an interview. You go up against a mouse and keyboard player, you're shooting him in the back, and then suddenly they're firing back at you. You have to play in a slightly different way. Their ability to just snap back was exactly what Wooten was doing in the series against FaZe as well. Against Shopify Rebellion, excuse me. You can give me one, right? They did used to be on FaZe.
Camo now up. Breaking shots not able to get into his chest. Mo's just about rounds the corner. Mastov steps inside C. Septic's there to combine with him. They continue the fight with a player in tower as well. Mo should be able to close distance, get that kill, and does. Although the kills are going in favor of BH3, the Strongholds still remain in control of Gen G. They're spawning over towards gold and glass now. Mo's is going to try and be an influence on those spawns. With the camouflage, Rhino has no idea where the Italian is standing. They'll trade C for B, which is a good trade in my books.
Both just need to be careful with this drop, but he does manage to get it before, but those nades are always so deadly. I think you're going to be able to survive at batteries and a grenade just suddenly arrives at your feet and it's already cooked, and you're like, well, I'm cooked as well. 2 dead for Gen G, but breaking shot showing that he can pick up double kills. And this is a scrappy game.
Score.
You mentioned for Gen G about damage and who's the one who gets the slays. And it's King Nick showing that now on the stat screen. 10, 2, and 5. Sunrise will get a killer. Sunriz, as he's affectionately known as,
By Wes.
from probably just Wes. I can't confirm that's who it is, but it's more than likely going to be he. Our Memphis man. Rhino bottom tower then, putting down some damage on the Septic over towards the batteries. Ops to stay alive with just a sliver of health now. All of his teammates have fallen around him. Septic might get spotted here. O's and Septic do combine to get that kill. So, the lead still in Gen G's favor. It's not insurmountable by any means, but it is
Enemy
significant.
team score.
BH3 now back in the driver's seat.
Bo's in an important position here because not only can he watch the cross, but he also has to be well aware of what can happen down towards Longhorn. And you can see he keeps just checking there. And I think he got a ping. I think he got the attention that Common was going to be here, and he does take that fight. Good confidence from Mose. Camo gets shut down as well. All 4 are dead, and this is what I was talking about. Push for that trip cap. Make Gen G sweat. Make them try and do something a little bit different. Look at the spawn, though, from King Nick.
You can see Mose had absolutely no hesitancy there as well. He knew exactly what needed to be done. Close distance, got the C, captured it for his team. And now you make Gen G sweat. Now you force them into errors and mistakes because they're losing so many points now.
BH3 have the trip cap. A good chance to jump into a listening and see what the comms are like for BH3.
Chop it, two. Hey.
Top tower, top A, tower. You're on me.
I'm dead. One more.
One shot. Any size weak. 2 in A.
Leave. We can.
Leave. B and C.
Get one tower. Okay, come. Tower weak. Watch out, tower. Two tower weak.
Free. Almost one shot, top tower.
Go away.
We're going gay, Bastards. We're going gay. Spawny.
I'm going back in B.
Okay, Trinity.
Bottom tower, yeah.
Tower.
B.
Watch B, guys.
In B one shot. In B weak. In B one shot now. I end up.
Maybe going gay.
I saw one.
L2. B box.
Okay, your last guy, Bastards. Your last guy. Yeah, he's pushing.
I spawn C, I spawn C.
Long.
We spawn right. Well, look,
Nice, guys. I'm here, Rob. I'm here. Top down weak. He's pushing. Push.
Go, back,
Il est
back.
sur la box, il push. Derrière toi. Two sur toi. Deux sur toi. One more, t'es one.
One more enemy, yeah. Back C.
Talk on.
One, it B. Two on B. Come on. Side B.
Communication's hectic. And there's some bad information being passed along as well. We heard the information coming that Ryanu was one shot inside batteries. He was not one shot. As a matter of fact, he was at least 3. And sometimes, Dan, no comms are better than bad comms.
I know how that feels.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think there's several times we played matchmaking.
I don't know what you're talking
and I've got into a gunfight, and you've said it was one shot.
Well, he was at least 2 shots down, so you should have won the fight anyway.
I mean, I didn't say how many shots I missed. I was just, he definitely wasn't one shot. One bullet. Oh!
Speaking of
Breaking
one
shot.
shots, breaking shot, putting one in the dome. Keeps himself moving. Mo's anticipating where he might re-emerge. That nade takes him down to no shields again, but breaking shot will continue to be an influence on this game with the shock rifle for now.
Well, when we joined the list, BH3 were in the ascendancy. They were hovering around 100 points and they had a lead, but now Gen G are breaking away from BH3 as well, 183 to 139. And even though 3 members were down by Gen G then, they just held a triple cap for quite some time because BH3 were trying to scarper their way across the map to try and do something as breaking shot again trying to put this shock rifle to use.
So that's one more shot to work with as well. And you can tell by the communications it was pretty hectic and frantic from BH3. That can work when things are going your way, but as soon as things start to slip away, you need calm. You need good, clear comms. You need good, clear strategy. Bastos in that 1v1. And again, we spoke about how it's not individual gunfights that will be BH3's undoing. Bastos drops his head, makes his hitbox smaller, and almost gets a kill, but does enough damage to make the fight easier for his teammate. But Gen G just have really made BH3 hurt with that triple captain.
It was a split push though from BH3. They put pressure over towards C and B, so at least they are scoring for now, but Breaking Shot's been able to get round towards A. And he's going to be able to shoot them in the back here as they move towards C as well. Gen G just seem to be one step ahead of BH3 right now, and it's going to be another camouflage for them as well. Breaking Shot has been really a thorn in the side for BH3 with his movement. But it has been King Nick who's been doing a lot of the killing. Good nade.
Enemy team nearing victory.
Do BH3 have a response then? Trying to capture C. Gonna have no idea. Breaking Shot's right behind them, doing a lot of damage. Opts to get away. Prioritize staying alive here. Use the shroud screen just to get away as well. Using so much utility. And although BH3 do capture C, it's not comfortable for them. They have to fight tooth and nail for every yard here, but if they're being successful, King Nick's gonna backstab here. He's not gonna try and control C, instead gonna try and pinch from behind. Mo's over towards Pizza, will receive 1 tick of damage. This should be a cleanup kill for King Nick. And Common gets the kill in the end. This is good for BH3, but as I say that, they lose C. The final knock-ins, the final ticks. Gen G win Game 3 to retake the lead in the series. 2-1 now the score.
Again, just the chemistry shines through a little bit for Gen G. BH3 were able to get it scrappy, get that trip cap for a while and start to gain a lead, but then once Gen G truly had control of the game and they were able to rotate accordingly, it was just so difficult for BH3 to get back into it. Their spawns were constantly inconsistent. Were broken up, often just in 2s and being swarmed by at least 3 players or being backstabbed, like you say. And now Gen G take a 2-1 lead, and good news for them is it's another objective game because, again, if the series layout was a little bit different and if we, change something that we've been doing for the last 20 years and put a Slayer here, we could be going to a Game 5. But with it being another objective, I think Gen G clear favorites with how they've played so far.
Taking a look at the stat sheet, there's one man jumping off the page. It's King Nick. 25, 14 and 5 assists with a 12.7 KDA. Clear of anybody else in the lobby. It was off the back of his good work that his team claimed victory. They put the pesky Europeans in the back foot now and 1 game away from losing the series.
I think they'll be disappointed, BH3 as well, because they did have a good hold on the game at one point. And actually, I mean, it was when we jumped into the listening that things started to fall apart as well. And you mentioned it, that the call-outs were quite hectic but passionate. And you did hear a couple of bad calls that have, or at least one bad call with the one shot as well. Sometimes that could be enough just to check you out a little bit. Why did you call that out? Why would you say one shot when he wasn't? Did shields recharge? And then Gen G took full advantage of it. And it was breaking shot, actually. That killing spree was a very important one. Because every single time that BH3 tried to break through, tried to get one player towards the stronghold, breaking shot seemed to be waiting there, defending it with his life.
So a lot of work now for BH3 to do, as they're up against the Kosh. And in real danger now of losing to the team who would have been the most vulnerable to them. Confirmation of what we've seen if you're just joining us, 5-3 on Aquarius CTF. A very competitive, a very close game one. Game two, a similar story, but BH3 iced up and got the win on Slayer. Streets. And Strongholds recharge, 250 to 146. Those three maps mean we are forced into a game four, and that one's going to be Oddball Live Fire.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned for BH3 in this one. I think Oddball Live Fire is going to play exactly into Gen G's playstyle here. You've got Rhino, who typically is the one who grabs the ball and rotates it accordingly, just is a nuisance getting away from his enemies, and then you let Breaking Shot loose again, I mean, alongside King Nick as well, with what the damage that they were putting down. It's looking more like a 3-1 to me with this series layout, which I think is a shame for BH3 because I do think that they had a real chance in the second Slayer as well. But if by some chance they can take this oddball game, that game 5, I mean, maybe then suddenly BH3 become the favorites.
Having a little peek into what's going on with the other open bracket team, Mindfreak up against Omit, and again, this is a very similar situation that BH3 found themselves in. Omit will be the team that's 0-2, so if Mindfreak are going to cause some ruckus, it's going to have to be here, really, you would feel. But the issue is, Dan, they're down 2-0 in the series.
And down 2-0, sadly. They weren't able to get that Slayer like BH3 were able to do. So instead, now they find themselves ahead in this game, though. BNC currently in control. But can Omit do exactly what Gen G did and just wrestle back this game and then finally get their footing on it? I'm wondering, like, you look at teams like Omit and Gen G and, you know, how far can they realistically go in this tournament? Because if you survive this game, you're probably dropping down to the elimination bracket, right? And then you're, depending on which side of the bracket you're on, you could be facing, with how the bracket is starting to shape up, an Optic or a Rebellion, a FaZe or an SSG. I mean, you could be getting into elimination bracket, but then top 12 could be very much chasing you down the line.
They're playing for a tournament life from here on out. In this game, in the next series loss will mean defeat, elimination from the tournament. We won't be hearing from them again until we head to Salt Lake City. For Collect, it's been a long road, it's been a difficult one. He's chopped and changed teams, been dropped, been replaced. And he finds himself now on this Omit roster. And they're almost affectionately the leftovers, the scraps and the remnants, and they're trying to build something and maybe keep themselves in the shop window with some good performances, maybe move on somewhere else. But they've been good enough to get this far. And by no means does this look like the end of the road for them right now. 2 to the good against Mindfreak, and Mindfreak going through the open bracket, beating Ether, who were the favorites to make it out. But now they find themselves against Omit, and they would have been fancying their chances last night. We've seen clips of people chatting Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi last night for them, so they would have been riding high off that. Perhaps coming in this morning just a little bit flat. Maybe there's a hangover from last night.
I hope not. Well, it wouldn't surprise me, but Mindfreak, I mean, you have to give them their credit because very difficult to practice in Australia as well. Like, sure, there's a couple of Australian teams you can play against each other, but then when you're trying to compete online, you cannot really practice against North America and European sides. The ping is so difficult, but they do, and boy do they try. They'll go to any length to try and get their practice in, and it certainly worked out. I mean, they are consistently finding themselves in pool play now, and in this game, they are currently taking it to Omit. About to be another triple cap by the looks of it, and maybe we're going to be looking at Mindfreak taking their first game here.
And it is really good to see Mindfreak be more competitive in these series, making it out of that open bracket. Because for too long, we did see the region just get themselves 3-0'd, go 0-3 in the pools. But now starting to show a lot more signs of life, starting to improve, really.
Well, I remember when it was, you know, the Australian team was just going to go 0-3, and then it was record-breaking Australian team finally wins a map, and then it was Australian team finally wins a series. Australian team finally beats a European side, finally beats a North American side. They just keep improving and keep getting better, and the region keeps just trying to burst back onto the scene and show that they can compete with some of the best teams in the world.
Speaking about bursting back onto the scene, 224 points now their lead, starting to really give this one a good go. They haven't got control of B and C just yet, but Plasma thought about going for the shock rifle, but heard some communication that maybe his teammate needed some help over towards A. He's going to oblige that call out, but unfortunately not really able to do much about the result of it. A is going to be converted here. Now this is how you ask Mindfreak, what is going to be your response? They're forced to spawn over towards gold because of where Plasma was positioned. How do they break out of this now? The option seems to be we're going to head towards C, and they do have control of the shock rifle. That could be the great equalizer here in this game.
Well, and Sways is behind enemy lines as well. You can see he gets a back smack onto Ezo, so that's going to open up this whole map for them. They can take C, and now they can start to score once more. Big fight here, but Collect is still showing why he is a top player. Good shots, though, to try and defend B. It can be really tough to actually defend B from that angle, but some players are better at doing it than others. There's another double kill goes in favor of Ezo.
I have to say, currently looking at the stats on our screens, top right-hand corner, you'll see Rice, 17, 7, and 8. He's cooking with the lid off right now, Dan.
There's 20 points needed then for Mindfreak. Is A going to be their target, as Ezo is going to be the first point of contact, does get taken down, and now A can be transferred, but where do Omid go? Have they moved over towards C? Looks like not quick enough, so some points are going to go in favor of Mindfreak here.
C's being converted and contested, but unfortunately Omid loses a couple of members along the way. Plasma has information there is a player towards gold. YSC looks towards Bat Legends, that's the most likely place he will appear. He drops into the hill to try and stop the scoring. Unfortunately for him, nothing doing. Camouflage is going to pop up, but Omer are being really forced into uncomfortable positions here. Mindfreak closed out game 3. 2-1 now the series score. They're showing signs of life. And now we look over towards what's going on with FaZe Clan and Unreal Nightmare.
Of course, some very familiar names on this roster as well. Super CC, Envor featuring. They are not unfamiliar of being in pool play and even getting towards that championship bracket, but it's FaZe Clan who have the lead 1-0. But it's Unreal Nightmare who have the lead in this game. Again, Slayers are always going to provide you with that opportunity, I feel, when you're coming through open bracket hot.
I look at the name of that team, Unreal Nightmare, I have the Rihanna song stuck in my head. Sweet Dream or A Beautiful Nightmare. And I don't know why. Something wrong with me, maybe.
You saw the one-word nightmare.
Yeah, that's it. I just decided I had to attach it to something.
A different kind of matchup here for Unreal Nightmare compared to the other pools we've seen, though, because they're going up against FaZe Clan. Of course, FaZe Clan, the #1 side in this pool right now.
Giving a good go of it in the Slayer so far. 4-kill advantage. You look at the top of your screen, you will see FaZe Clan did win map #1, though. This is over on the C stream. So 2-kill lead now. 3 dead. On board, last man alive for his team, trying to get a trade, but he is going to fall. Triple kill. Locked in for suppressed. That's what you need for breakfast early in the morning.
If you want to watch the rest of this one, just go over to twitch.tv/HCS_red. It's 37-37. Just in case we don't finish it here, because of course we still have a main stage match to jump to at any point. 38-38 at the moment, a very close one. And as I said, twitch.tv/HCS_red if you want to watch it.
We'll leave you on a cliffhanger.
Ooh.
You want to see its conclusion, you know where to head. But we turn our attentions now back to BH3 versus Gen G. Series score currently lying at 2-1 in favor of Gen G. Oddball live fire on the horizon. That's where the stage is going to be set. There is that sniper rifle, which a lot of players can pop off on, and I know from playing Bastos in matchmaking, he gets drawn to that thing like a moth to a flame. But boy, oh boy, is he go with it.
It was Ryanoob, though, who grabs it off the rip and rips Septic's face off as well. Ryanoob's starting strategies have been incredible today.
Enemy has the ball.
Whether it was a double kill, a triple kill, or just a no-scope to begin the game. Knows exactly what he wants to do. Hasn't followed up with it since,
Enemy
though.
has the ball.
But at least
Ball
he
dropped.
has that sniper rifle and doesn't allow BH3 to get their hands on it.
I like to think this is good applying of pressure here. Firing a couple of warning shots across the bow. They don't have to connect as long as they know you're there, but he does eventually get
Enemy
the
has
body
the
shot
ball.
onto Mose, and King Nick will clean that one up. Camouflage now in the chest of King Nick. They can begin to roll forward. This oddball game won't be quick, so BH3 have an
Ball
opportunity
dropped.
to grow into it. Sunrise currently with no kills, but it's only
Enemy
early
has
days.
the
0,
ball.
1, and 2 for him.
Ball dropped.
Bastos 3, 1, and 1. So
Enemy has the ball.
the better start here for Gen G in terms of setups. A slender lead for BH3. Ryanoob in big trouble. Septic does finally lock in that kill as Ryanoob tried to delay his life as long as possible, hoping his teammates would come to help and assist. Bastos has got hands on the ball over, and he's looking to head over towards the window, but instead opts to watch bottom middle instead.
And this has been an important start for BH3. They've shown that they're not scared to pick up that ball and try and get some scrappy time. As soon as Gen G hit that first shot with a sniper rifle, I think it was Bastos who just walked in and said, all right, well, I'll have the ball. You guys have fun playing with a sniper rifle. In all the meanwhile, I'll score like 15 points on the board. As long as you don't allow Gen G to get this setup, then perhaps you can just pull off a victory here, or at least get a round. But now Ryanoob has that ball. He'll be trying to rotate it away from the rest of BH3 and probably head towards green. But if BH3 are clever, they'll try and cut him off.
And I wouldn't mind, you mentioned sometimes you can just let people compete for the sniper rifle, let the enemy team have it, prioritize getting the ball. Now we've seen that happen yesterday, Nemesis up against Shopify Rebellion, and they were punished for it. All of those 4 players start hitting some insane shots. As I say, that 4 go down for BH3, and Gen G take the lead.
Yeah, although the difference is you're not playing up against a Frosty and a Royal 2, and that's no disrespect to Gen G, but Frosty and Royal 2 were hitting some of the most disgusting shots I've seen so far this tournament. Alongside Formal, of course, who was doing something similar as well on the main stage last night.
Ball out of bounds. Ball incoming.
3 dead for Gen G. Septic's got camo. And no shielded player comes towards him. He cleans that up as easy as you like. So a slender lead now. 2 remain in the respawn screen. You can see Septic was a little bit hesitant to go and pick up that ball, and you can see why. Breaking shot was ready to just descend upon him. Sniper rifle will drop. Bastos now will get his hands on it. Like I say, like a moth to the flame.
What can you do with it? 4 bullets. 1 was good.
Considering the circumstances, good for a trade. Breaking shot on the middle, takes a lot of damage. Mo's outputting so much damage here, trying to stay alive as well. Using that electric box just to try and move his hitbox out of harm's way for any grenades that might splash his way. Ultimately, he was all for naught as he does get taken out. And now, Gen G had the ball over towards the window. The collapse is coming from big doors, so now it appears as though BH3 do have control of house. Septic looked a little bit lost. He was trying to find where those shots were coming from. Ryanoob gets himself out of harm's way.
I almost feel like you have to check that angle so frequently now. So many players will just sit there trying to lure you in and get a couple of shots onto you for free.
Ball dropped.
The trouble is, if you check that angle too aggressively, you're very exposed to other angles. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Only a slender lead though for Gen G, so BH3 are doing well to keep this one competitive. But this next set of kills could be important, and Bastos, and that kill is so important. If he had gone down there, then Gen G probably going to put 20, maybe even 30 seconds on the board. But instead, now he can at least try and do something.
Enemy has the ball.
You lost hope mid-sentence there. And for good reason. King Nick puts 5 fresh ones in the Mo's. Gets Septic down to no shields. King Nick really putting down so much damage in this series, it must be said. Very impressive performance. Currently sitting at 9-4 and 9 with 22 seconds of ball time.
Ball dropped.
There's real breathing room between Gen G and BH3 now. A lot to do. Sunrise tries to stop the camouflage being an easy grab. He was successful because Septic got the kill. Camo burned. This at the least of BH3's concerns. Now 3 dead. They have got to put some serious points on the board now.
I was going to say, get over towards tower if you're BH3 now, because you're losing the house game. Yes, it was a little bit scrappy, but Gen G are just being able to get slightly better setup each time. Get to an area where you can actually play the ball each time you lose a setup. And sure, okay, so you had to play it quite early there, but you've gained at least 5-6 seconds. I'd say it's just as simple as repeat and get into effect, but sadly they lose 2 players and Gen G are able to steal the ball away.
And sometimes the difference really can be that their setup got to 25 seconds, ours only got to 20. But you do that 3 or 4 times, you get a decent lead, you win the round. It is about scrapping every last second that you can.
Gen G are just a little bit better at breaking setups, as to be expected with the experience that they have. Now breaking shot has the sniper rifle. 9 more points required to take this first round for Gen G, but BH3 are throwing everything at them right now.
BH3 throwing everything at them, Common throwing the ball off the map, making sure they can't get any points, and don't get an easy green setup. Septic will get the kill, but Common will push 2 players into the drink.
Common throwing everything off the map, not just the ball. Big fight for Mose, does manage to get the kill onto King Nick, but he will fall afterwards. The ball was grabbed by Sunrise.
What can the Rizzler do? Get 1 kill. That's good enough for now, but more will be demanded of him very shortly. Gen G only requires 7 more seconds. Next time they get a break, they will win the round. The Europeans remain on the back foot, but they're trying to fight here. Sunrise gets the player under no shields, will reach Chal, and he's punished for it. King Nick and Common get a couple of kills. Bastos is there to try and clean up the damage. He'll answer back with a double kill. The ball now in the hands of Breaking Shot, and he's bringing it towards green. The final seconds tick down, and Gen G will win round 1.
They take round 1, and in the end it looked relatively comfortable. There was a couple of moments where BH3 tried to fight back, but the control we're seeing from Gen G is just far superior. The angles in which they kind of force BH3 into, they're almost getting such easy kills off the back of it. And they really did like the push at the end, actually, from Common, round to back dirt. Took a very aggressive angle out wide. It's not a place you'd expect the player to be. So it just meant that he got the shot up onto Sunrise. And then Sunrise challenged him, probably shouldn't have re-challenged him, but I'm not going to be mad at someone for trying to just show a little bit of confidence.
I think the risk versus reward of that as well. If you get the kill, you can get even more points. Sometimes it is worth the risk.
And when you're 7 points away from losing the round, you kind of have to take risks. So again, I'm not going to blame the man.
Camouflage now for Sunrise.
Enemy has the
Pinging,
ball.
breaking shot, waiting for the walk past. That's very good. Now, plays like that, Dan, are good for a number of reasons. You guarantee the kill, yes, of course, but that extra couple of seconds where he's on the map but not shooting anything is another 2 seconds where you keep him off the board.
Just like round 1, it's an early lead for BH3, but this time, Septic has a sniper rifle, and he is on mouse and keyboard. No, no. Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Meow! Common getting picked up by speed cameras. Septic, though, he's a player that can match that. The mouse and keyboard. Look at this. Spins on a dime. Looks for his next victim. No more sniper rifle bullets to play with, so he won't be having as much fun now. But this is much better from BH3 in the early innings. 32-5 now.
Enemy has the ball.
Something to hold on to. It's so fascinating, Dan, every time you get into a game of Oddball. Round 1 and round 2 can be so different. They're starting to win that house control. They're starting to win the fights, the individual
Enemy
battles.
has the ball.
Of course, the spawning on a different side can really influence how that starting strategy goes. Similarly to how Rhino grabbed the sniper rifle straight away when they spawned on house side, it was Septic who did the same thing. And I think just denying the other team a sniper rifle can sometimes be so important. Because you saw, Septic just picked up 2 kills, and then suddenly you have the advantage as well. But the real question is, can BH3 actually hold on to this lead and convert this into a point?
Enemy has the ball. Ball dropped.
Team Mo just fizz himself out of existence there.
Ball dropped.
Unfortunately, he's going to be sent through the portal with their sticky grenades took to him this time. King Nick gets a camouflage relatively unscathed, unchallenged. Now he can just watch the ball bait it because he knows his teammates are in the respawn screen. They're going to fight for it now on scoreboard. He's going to tiptoe his way now over towards Sunrise. Mo's bottom middle does a lot of damage to the camouflage player, and he's trying to get him out of the equation, but unfortunately for him, King Nick is completely backed away from any splash damage from those grenades. Hits a lovely 5-shot, but gets killed from the window, which Common now cleans up on. So, sniper rifle pops up, and Common has the option now to pick up the ball before it resets, but instead, Septic delays it, makes him fight for it. Ryan Noob shows up with the sniper rifle, and now Gen G can take control of House, and they have some goodies to play with too.
Gen G can take control of House, and we can take control of listening. So let's jump in and see what the comms are like for Gen G.
Probably bottom mid. He's bottom mid.
Yes.
Dead.
Nice.
Snipe down.
Give me sense, give me sense.
Rat's clear. I got your back. Rat's clear.
A plat.
Rat's clear. Rat's
Watch out
clear.
top mid. And another guy A plat. Another guy A plat. Very big, big, big,
Rat's still
big.
clear.
Nice, that was my
Rat's
one
fine.
shot. That was my one. Push me, double push me.
Smoke out.
Watch out.
One shot.
Keter, on you, Billy. Back them.
You die?
Two in A. Screens. No.
Go
Screens.
vent.
Two dead right now. Two dead.
Go in the vent. He has snipe repulse now.
One shot screens.
How key?
One shot
Key,
screens.
one key.
Two key. Go on A plat, guys.
Check back screens.
In A, weak
There's a-
close.
they have a
Bottom
snipe
and
screen,
10.
they have a
Big door.
snipe screen. Big door.
Big door back to jail. Big door back to jail.
Two jail
Double
side,
A screens. Here. A pit, one shot, Septic. One shot A pick, guys.
Dead.
One shot A plat, melee, in A, jail,
Bottoms
A
up.
pillar.
And Keter.
Two Keter, last two
And
Keter
cuts.
after
And
jail.
cuts.
Last
Cuts
two
Obi.
Keter.
On Obi.
Nice.
On Obi and ball.
Ball is sniper.
Ball. He's weak.
Swap.
And no.
Tony.
It's 2 1 shot. We got both. Spawning Obi.
I spawn green, careful.
I'm going bottom mid, Nick.
Nothing top.
We have Q.
I'm going bottom mid.
They're probably just left, or...
They're
Small
not.
green,
They're
small
not.
green, small green.
Yeah, not right or bottom. Cut right now. Right. 2 shots in him.
He's got bottom mid.
On of you.
And Keter.
Bottom mid. One shot bottom
I
mid.
kill those. Screens on me, guys, something. I'm throwing out to you, don't throw out to you.
I died.
I got him.
One Keter.
Two dead.
I'm in
Rat. Rat's A weak.
Two.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Three.
Milk.
Play late. Wait for them to get to you. On you, nading you down. Nice, Dylan. Just fuck this shit, bro.
Alright, camo 15.
Okay.
Dummy door.
I spawned.
It's on.
Jump.
Dummy going dummy door.
Taking the lead now, a 30-point advantage pretty much. Very clear communication as well from Gen G, a very direct approach to how they wanted to get possession of that ball and set up to follow. For BH3, are they just letting this one slip through their fingers yet again? Because now they have to try and force their way back into the game, and the clock is starting to be against them as well.
BH3 haven't really been able to register much success since the early innings. They got that 30 or so points. I believe it might have actually been 34. They might not have had a point since then. Sunrise does get a triple kill. You can see him getting a little bit passionate, getting a little bit loud, and that's what they need. But turn that passion into points. That's what we need to see from here on out. 61 now to 36. Ball has dropped once more. So that triple kill that Sunrise was able to get, they're still not scoring any points. As a matter of fact, Gen G are back on the ball.
Yeah, it's just a lot of these one-shots are getting away on the side of Gen G, which is something that is not happening on the flip side. When we were in that listening, it was, where's the one-shot? Okay, that was my one-shot. We need to find the players that are escaping that are on no shields, because it's so important to take them down and capitalize on the damage you've done. Ball is going to get played, so BH3 do stop that, but again, it is 4 seconds on the side of Gen G as they are now closing in on taking this series.
And if you look at the slays on the board of both teams, there's very little to separate them. Mo's sort of the outlier in that. 17, 11, and 28, so he would like to have a better game here. Maybe hoping for one more round for redemption. There's still time, but there's not a lot of it. The sand is very quickly slipping through their fingers. Sunrise gets another kill. But Breaking Shot's got the sniper rifle now. Ball is in a neutral territory, and Gen G have got it again, and they start to now have the option to just play time.
Yeah, it'd be quicker for them to play time than it would be to hold on to the ball at this point. Just want to keep this away from BH3, especially when they have the sniper rifle as well, although BH3 have forced back 2 of them. There'll be one last chance to hold here for BH3, you feel. 3 down on the side of Gen G. Sunrise has the QT as well to try and find this player over towards green, perhaps. It's going to be back and forth into the nether realm and then back out.
One last and final hurrah then in this series. Then you have the Demons and the Beasts waiting for you in Optic Gaming and TSM, who both looked formidable yesterday, going to a Game 5.
10 seconds.
This would, on paper, be BH3's best chance to make it into the elimination bracket, but Gen G thus far have made it pretty easy for themselves. With seconds ticking down now, BH3 will not be able to do much about it. Gen G close out the series, 3-1 the score, and they will be heading into the elimination bracket. Provided, of course, BH3 don't beat Optic Gaming or TSM.
Provided there's no tomfoolery with any sort of three-way ties.
No more shenanigans.
The good and important news for Gen G is they at least stop themselves from being eliminated as a guaranteed position on 0-3. They now can sit back and see what else happens in the pool. You can see a little bit of dejection on the side of BH3 though. They don't look particularly happy. I think they know that this was their most likely chance of taking a series. The good news for them, very much warmed up, and they get to stay on that main stage now for another 2 series as well. Can they put it into effect against a TSM or an Optic Gaming?
A lot of work to be done for them. But Gen G got their work done this morning. They won the series they needed to, and now it's out of their hands. They have to rely on TSM and Optic Gaming to handle the open bracket team. You'd be hoping they'll have enough firepower to get the job done and do Gen G a favor. But there's always a chance. There's always that puncher's chance.
It's a good effort from BH3, certainly, you know, the Slayer going their way. I was starting to think, well, maybe they could just sneak one of these objectives, but it's a tale as old as time, sadly. And there's just been a team that's been together a little bit longer, has that extra chemistry. They get the objective work done. Even if sometimes they feel like they're being outslayed in moments, it's the time that they find when they do get set up is what we saw really from Gen G. That was good work from Common to send not only the ball, but 2 players off the map as well. Ultimately, a good effort from BH3 though. They didn't look outclassed. They didn't embarrass themselves. How many times have we seen a team come out of open bracket, go into pools and just get slapped around? You know, 50-20 in the Slayers, 5-0 in Flag, and an easy 2-0 on Ball. It was a lot closer than that, and I think that's something that BH3 can be very proud of, because as BH3 progresses to try and catch up the other 2 European teams, you know, this roster is consistently being built to try and catch the rest. The real question is, can they just get over that hurdle of these North American sides as well?
And I think there is foundation for them. There is optimism. This is far more competitive than it has been in the past, like you say. So if they stick to this core group, this 4, they don't make any changes when they go back home, because every time you come off the back of a loss, you come over to North America, you don't put in the performance you maybe wanted to in the pools. There's always an inkling. Do we make a change? Do we try and alter the strategy? Do we try and bring in somebody else? But if they keep this crew together, they could have something special. They could close the gap on the European teams, but more importantly, be more competitive over here in North America. Confirmation of what we did see though. Gen G with the 3-1 series victory. BH3 did take the Slayer, but although the live fire oddball reads 2-0, it was far more competitive. In games 1 and 3, they also had their chances. So when they go through VOD later on today, they'll see some things that they did wrong, but see a lot of things they did right.
Sadly, they don't have time to go through VOD before they play their next series.
That's
because they go through the gauntlet here on the main stage. Now, it'll be TSM up next, followed by Optic Gaming. And if they don't get a result here against TSM, suddenly they find themselves going into an Optic Gaming series with a must-win if they want to stay alive in the competition, which no one really wants to find themselves in. But it is Gen G who move on. They find their victory, their first victory of this pool, and hopefully they keep their tournament lives alive here. I'm getting attacked by a plant. Something I thought someone was touching me, but it's not. It was a plant that was touching me.
So Gen G will be looking towards the other pools to see who their potential opponents might be, and hoping it's not an Optic Gaming or some of the big dogs, but we now have to watch BH3 up against TSM. So don't go anywhere, because that will be up right after this very short break.
In Halo 5, there was an incredibly individually skilled player. His name was Bound, but nobody had ever seen his face. Nobody could find his name, could find where he lived, knew anything about this kid.
Bound was a mystery. he was an enigma. Nobody knew what he looked like. Nobody knew anything about him.
Honestly, that kid could have passed me in the street. I would have never known it was Bound. I would have never known that he would be a future superstar.
I mean, it was just a name that you were always hearing about, whether it be in FFAs, whether it be up-and-coming player. He was always the name that was kind of discussed.
I think maybe one person had ever seen his face before he went to a LAN event.
He was so good at Halo that it really got people wondering who is Bound.
I don't really know why he was staying so hidden.
To not have a Facebook, a Twitter.
He was just using like Spartans as his like profile pictures and stuff.
I just remember thinking like, when is it going to be that definitive moment that Bound finally makes a leap onto a pro team?
You know, when you do that and you're a man of mystery, everybody talks about you, right? And everyone has speculation and stories.
Some random guy from Ohio with the craziest movement, the craziest mechanics.
Bound, take 2, mark.
Make sure it was specifically the
Waiting for the right time to compete at my first event was more so just like trying to figure out like what I actually wanted to do in life. When Halo 5 was on the circuit, I guess you could say, I was in high school and I didn't really like look at video games competitively as like an option. It wasn't until after I was done with high school and just needed to get a job, I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna do video games.
I think the idea of being able to play video games for a living, to make a career out of it, is every kid's dream, right? For Bound to be able to be that H5 kid, to come up through the ranks, to be the kid that started from scratch, to find himself on a main stage, doing what he does best and doing something that he loves, I couldn't think of anything better.
I think he just enjoys competing. I think it's something that you can really see in the way that he kind of interacts with people in and around the venue. He's just happy to be on the main stage.
Casting Bound, you always know as soon as you go onto his point of view, he's going to do something exciting.
It might not just be one kill, it could be two if he can find his targets. Lucid changes to the barrel rifle smartly to make sure that rocket is still in his hands.
Oh
this
my
one
God.
will connect.
Oh!
It's Bound time!
He's shooting some bodies as well. This is a rookie on a mission here.
If you're against him, you know how difficult it can be to move on a map.
There's this kind of stylistic movement that he has.
He kind of just has like a playstyle that is very non-traditional. It's just very fast-paced.
Bound's in the game and Bound's picking up an overkill!
It's his unpredictability.
He's just very, very good at closing space, whether it will be in an offensive way to pick up kill or move an objective, or to escape and just be a nuisance for other teams to try and find.
The other team never really know where he's going to be, what he's going to be doing, and I think that that's a scary prospect.
He is such a tough kill.
That man moves around like a spider monkey.
I've always just had like natural aggression in game, and I've never really like ever thought to not push. I feel like when I'm in my zone and like I'm in flow state, like that is what my playstyle just comes off as. And most like other players just try to live too much when they can probably do more on the map, just going out there and dying. Sometimes it's good to die, I feel like. Dude, why are you playing like that? Why are you doing that?
Play. Just run around, don't give a If you've never met Bound and you only know him from like Twitch or like online basically, I guess he's kind of controversial. Like he's like an aggressive troll, I guess would be a good way to describe it.
I'm the best player in the game, dude.
Shepard! That cannot be happening!
I'm him. I'm him.
Bound is a quirky one. He's very quirky, he's very funny.
He likes to make people laugh in like just little off comments and things like that.
I think most people would be surprised how people are in real life compared to what their persona is online.
Like out of the game, Bound is like, he's so normal. I don't know, he's just really easy to get along with. He's funny, like class clown.
He always tries his hardest in scrims.
He rarely complains about like much, honestly. He just wants to win.
Wait, have you guys ordered food here yet? Because I put the convention in the center, but like, do they go here or the other side? We'll walk over there. Shit, that's her. All right, nah, chill, don't come that close. Won every game by like an inch, pretty much. Yeah, honestly, should have probably won at least one, but. Playing with the team I'm currently on, it's a blessing. These guys have all won LAN events. They're super, super humble.
Eco, Stella, Penguin, these guys are absolutely phenomenal. So for me, a win is inevitable.
How he fits in is a very interesting question because he came in to replace Renegade, who is widely regarded as, I don't think anyone would argue, as one of the best players in the game. And Baum was picked up as a young up-and-comer who had a lot to prove.
People need to remember this guy is still relatively new. People will remember this moment of Bound being on the cusp of winning as the initial signs of the greatness to come.
I definitely have something to prove just because I feel like I'm on a team that has won. I replaced someone on a roster where they did win twice.
On this lineup, I feel like he's willing to learn and he is the playmaker for them. He is allowed to go and do what he does best, which is opening up the map, picking up 1, 2, 3 kills, dealing damage because he knows that his teammates are going to be there to back him up. So I think he's the catalyst for all things good for Space Station.
With the way Bound has looked in scrims, I can tell he's hungry. I can tell it's only a matter of time before he gets that win, even if he has to will his team forward, even if he has to be that main guy, which, let's be honest, as of right now, he already is that main guy.
People view me as some superstar type player, and I feel like I'm definitely capable of doing it.
The next step for him is to go on and win a championship himself.
We're definitely striving for Bound's first win. I think Bound deserves a win.
I think Bound sees himself as the greatest of all time by the end of his career.
I think he's going to continue to push boundaries, and he is a special player that I can see lifting a lot of championships going forward.
Yeah, I feel like we've been close so many times. I mean, there was Worlds, and then even it's the last event, the way we lost, like, it hurts, but like I know that we're still capable. We just get so close every time, and we just have to put it together one time. I think we have it. Halo is my life. It has been for probably about 10 years. It's pretty much all I thought about since middle school. I didn't plan it to become a pro. I just thought of it one day, and here I am. So after gaming, I guess we'll just see where it takes me.
Welcome back, everybody, to HCS Open Dallas. Welcome back to DreamHack, and look at these beautiful scenics of Dallas itself. We are ready to get into our next pool play game on our main stage. It's going to be Onset and Bravo to take you through this game, Andy, and this one has a lot of pressure on the shoulders of BH3. We have to say, this is a must-win series for them right now.
Yeah, we're getting into the thick of it here. It was a great pool play Friday, but let's be honest here. Saturday midday, it's time to get into the do-or-die matches, even though we're not into bracket play just yet. As everyone knows, as you get into the latter stages of pool play, it becomes just that, as you say, a must-win here for BH3 if they want to stay alive. Otherwise, we will have our results cemented in Group A. Let's take a look at the series layout here.
Yeah, we're going to see some different game types. A lot of similar ones yesterday through pool play, but today we're going to start off with a bit of King of the Hill on Solitude. Then we have Slayer Recharge. Neutral Bronze Fortress is the game number 3. Strongholds Live Fire and Aquarius Slayer just hanging on at the end if we do require them. But with the way that TSM finished yesterday, Andy, with that huge Game 5 50-49 win over Optic Gaming, not only did that send shockwaves through the tournament and the potential brackets, but I think it's just filled them with a lot of belief about what they could possibly achieve here at this tournament as well.
Yeah, I think it's a dangerous, potent combo for the players of TSM, right? Because they're coming in already with the chemistry, with the experience, and with the confidence, but now, right, they got the results to back it up. I think a lot of teams across the bracket are going to be fearing this. You and I got to catch Last Shot this morning, actually, talking to him about, he was kind of shaking his head. He's like, for some reason, these brackets can never be normal, right? It's always got to be a shakeup, and this time it's TSM shaking things up. Really impressed with what we've seen from them so far, and can't wait to see what they do in this series as well. It's a little bit, of course, with already being 2-0 here, maybe a little bit of a cushion and a comfort for them in this series where they're expected to take it. On the other side, though, BH3, they're going to have to show up in a big way. This is their tournament life on the line. They need to win this, and not just this, but they need to perform thereafter in the pool. TSM, though, going to try to make quick work and continue on. Get ready for championship bracket play. King of the Hill Solitude, your game number 1.
Yeah, one thing TSM don't want to do here is just slip up. You know, you've done the hard work in the pool, you've beaten the higher seeded teams, and sad 2-0 at the moment. You want to close out. You want to be 3-0 through pools and going into that bracket play feeling good and feeling just as good as you were at the end of the day yesterday. Also, just want to give a quick shout out to BH3 here, coming through the open bracket, of course, and European team really trying to fight and solidify their place as one of the top European teams. And a shout out to Rob Septic as well, who's not only back competing, but an old teammate of mine, Andy. He's a team with me. He's come a long way since then.
Wise man teaming with you. Nice double off the opening here for Druck. Actually, let's make it a triple. What a start for them. I think last player is going to be here in blue, so they'll wrap for some more kills and they'll put some time on the board.
All of BH3 just stuck and spawning together in and around blue at the moment, which is not where you want to be here. You can see Soul Sniper on a little flank round trying to catch a few players off, but Septic and Bastos will carve an opening here. But a couple of good shots and a bit of chain damage coming in from that shock rifle should make this a pretty easy clean-up here for Soul Sniper. It will be indeed. Now he looks for the triple. Gonna take on Mose. A little bit of help will come on from Druck to clean that one up, but Mose wins the fight. This is a little bit of a scrappy start here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And it looks like kind of a little bit of a scrappy and rush because we can't lose TSM mindset, right? This is how they play really against anyone. They're just going to be flying at full speed, but it feels like they're going to get away with even a bit more against a team like BH3. Like we said, BH3 is going to have to be ready for the speed and aggression all game long.
Druck probably the standout player for me yesterday on TSM. Some of the stats he was putting up in that Optic series, very impressive. And starting off a very similar pattern here, 6-2 as we see a second death happen right in front of our very eyes. Torlik as well, you saw the pop-up from him yesterday against Optic Gaming when they won that. A couple of choice emotes towards the green wall who was supporting Optic, and we'll have to see if Optic do get their revenge a little bit later in this tournament. But for now, it looks like an element of control is being held by TSM, as we were essentially tied up on this bottom hill, but now they're sneaking into somewhat of a lead.
Couldn't agree more. Very choice emotes. I gotta say, you're making a lot of enemies here in Dallas, Texas. If you're trying to get in a 4 dead, by the way, which should be a TSM, maybe even finish off of this small rotation. You're making a lot of enemies. You start to gesture towards the green wall in Dallas, Texas. You might want to actually have some security escorts for him for the rest of the weekend, to be completely honest. Just another tick here for TSM. It's also going to be a camo for Solstein.
Sunrise is going to spot him out here. This could be a really important win for Sunrise, but he can't manage to connect with that final shot. Soul Sniper will outshoot him and now step in towards that hill. There's another easy cleanup, and that will be the hill. And the first point on the board here for TSM is 4 dead as well for BH3 off the rotate, and you can see the Soul Sniper's already spotted out a spawner, and that is going to mean split spawns here for BH3 as he puts some bullets into Sunrise, who gets taken down already.
He also, not sure if it was completely intentional, but even with that camo time, and they baited for a second while they got 3 dead, and they finished the hill, so I think there's a little bit of intention there as well. That will now let them rotate, and it feels like they're really just grabbing control of this game. Truck already 9-3 off the open.
3 dead again for BH3 here, just really struggling to get on the map. And those split spawns, so difficult when you got 4 bandit rifles versus 2. Torlik's still alive here in blue. Bastos will finally clean him out, but this is just all these battles are taking place over 50% of the way on the map, away from where that hill is at the moment. And even though Bastos is trying to force his way forward, outputting some damage, it seems like TSM are doing a great job of just holding BH3 back at the moment. They've already got 3/4 of this hill capped.
Shock in hand though for BH3. Let's see if Sunrise can do anything. No, he's immediately wiped. It was 4 dead. Bastos is your first spawner, so this will be more time, and it will be also, you can just tell based on the positioning, a finish for TSM on the second hill.
Torlik's already in the flank and already looking to secure the snipe spawns for them as well, so Septic does get that win, which means that they will have blue and snipe, so TSM will have to break the setup and the positioning that BH3 has, and Mo's with a little bit of momentum, picking up the double kill in and around blue. Should mean that BH3 will have good positioning to step inside of that hill, but Manny still has that shock rifle and has the opportunity to pick up a couple of kills here to maybe even the numbers up. Mo's is going to shut that down.
Interestingly, no thrust used there. Bomb. Instead, die with it, so we'll see who grabs the shock and the thrust. Soul Snipe, by the way, goes into camo and gets an easy wipe. They are 2 down, though, so he needs to be selective with his shots. Gets punished there. Look at the progress here. BH3 not out of the game just yet.
Like we mentioned, BH3, there's some experience on this team. You know, look at Mo's now. He's been competing for a long, long time. He was part of that Fuse roster way back when in Halo 5 that kind of was a trend-setting team. Got Europe's best ever placing. Actually, at a DreamHack event, that was as well. A lot of time has dispersed between that performance and now. But they are over halfway to capping this hill. TSM really a long way away from even challenging the position of that hill. Mo's should be able to get this kill. Doesn't overextend there to give a trade away. I like that decision-making coming in from Mo's.
Yeah, really nicely done there. A lot of players, you know, especially against players on TSM, you might lose that battle. You might get juked challenging from legend to yard. But as you said, he's been doing it for a long time and does not fall victim to the wiggles. Instead, Manny now going to start scoring, and they're going to try to play a little bit of heartbreak on this third hill, see if they can steal this and scoop this out. 2 dead each side.
Yeah, Bastos with a nice double kill, though. He's going to be able to pressure Manny out of this hill, so really good play from Bastos to create that opening here for BH3 to at least contest. Mo's will get another one as well, and Bastos gets the trade in that situation, so 2 dead for TSM once again, and it will be a point on the board here for BH3 as we now move towards the driveway.
Big important hill, you know, going down 3-0, of course. Game would really be already written. Instead, now 2-1 with a lot of game time left. 2:45 left on the clock, and BH3 finds not only signs of life here, but they're right back in this match. Sunrise, last player alive on Yard BR. Druck with an important kill on the perfect as well.
Lovely shots coming in from Druck, just continuing from what we saw yesterday from him. Bastos has got the timing to get into Yard, though, to at least challenge and create some space, and he actually gets the kill. Bastos, even though he's sat at 10 and 15 in this game, he's created a lot of openings in the, I would say, since that third hill for BH3 to create opportunities to get towards that objective. Soul Snipe's going to get away with that camo, but when you look at the position on the map, BH3 have control here.
Yeah, I like this. Good setup. Soul Snipe, there had 2 dead. He had to grab the camo solo. Now has the shock, and he gets also the break in the opener. It's 3v3 on the push.
Torlik will find one. Septic gets another one as well with the pancake. Soul Snipe on the flank at the moment. Bastos going to be last alive now. Just goes up to the goal ledge. Easy shot there for Soul Snipe. Even easier when Bastos has no idea that you're aiming at him.
Really nice work there from Soul Snipe. Just really calm, mature decision making. You know, even though you lose 2 in Yard, you slowly get the camo. I think BH3 has to do more there, right? They have to at least challenge that camo, or at least challenge the shock. They give up both for free. And as you can tell, the control didn't mean much because TSM's already leading on this hill as well.
Well, 3 dead there for TSM momentarily. Torlik is going to try and catch Sunrise off guard as one of the last alive. He still has control of the loop, and you can see the spawners will be able to get up the map to join him. So BH3, the kills they were picking up were a little bit staggered there, but 2 players managed to flush him out of that loop. And they are still inside of this hill here. So TSM are struggling a little bit to get across the map. 3 dead once again for TSM. Septic's got himself a shock rifle, and all of a sudden we could have a tie game very soon.
Solid last player alive in blue. Mose wisely just goes ledge. Love this play from Mose. He could have wrapped, he would have gotten caught in blue, as you can tell. Instead, he now just holds the position. Look at these ticks. They should have the timing to finish this one out. They will.
Just got to be careful here, BH3, that they don't let this one slip. It's a real opportunity, but now Sunrise finds himself as last alive. Soul Snipe goes in, no stick as well. So BH3, who was so close to converting that hill, now have to go for a full break They have to get 4 on the map. They do have time for a push, but they've got to time this perfectly.
Yeah, it has to be perfect, and the kills need to start coming in right now.
Sunrise flies forward. He knows that something has to be done. A couple of kills get picked up again by Bastos. It's a 2v2. Moses trying to force his way towards that hill, but Manny showing that experience, just steps out for a second. Support Soul Sniper. Here comes Sunrise.
Look at this.
He's there. Sunrise with 2. And all of a sudden, BH3 will tie the game up at 2-2 thanks to the man on your screen.
Oh my God, Mose and Sunrise with a brave driveway push. Reminiscent of Normandy, you might say, just going straight uphill, no shields, and Sunrise picks up both of them. That was not an easy 1v2 against the players at TSM. And they also get a camo off the back of it. They get kills off the back of it. What a huge play in the game. Only 80 seconds or so on the game clock. My God.
They have snipe control as well. They have the spawns that they require here, BH3. TSM are a little bit stuck in and around the loop and yard. They're going to have to get some numbers before they can think about pushing. They do get that first pick. Soul Snipe's trying to make a little bit of a play on the off angle. Bastos with more good damage coming in here, who's now 17 and 19. So that run is starting to reflect a little bit. The statistics. A trade comes in from Sunrise. It's 2v2 on the map at the moment. Soul Snipe finds the one onto Mose, and Septic finds himself as the pretty much the last alive here. TSM have managed to break the snipe setup, and they will stop the game clock as well as they step inside of that hill. 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the clock.
Druck way outside. We'll see how he rotates here. He's going to maybe try to get behind them in blue. This yard battle's important one. Once again, two players, no shields. It's a lot of two-man pushes and buddy system coming in from BH3.
Manny has the shock again. This is one thing that we haven't seen a huge amount of control on from BH3 is this weapon in particular. Sunrise though with a perfect onto Torlik, showing that he can get the bandit, he can get the job done, and once again the buddy system is working here for BH3. 2 players push that loop. Soul Snipe will clear them both out though, and now you can see a 2v2 on the map. Manny has to try and go forward. Bastos and Sunrise combining on the snipe side to try and shut this push down, but it's going to be 3 dead, and it will be a break here for TSM.
Really big. Septic's also a spawner. Moses split way in Hotel. This is going to be a tough break here for BH3 based on the spawns and the damage right now.
Camo coming up as well. Septic's trying to pressurize, but Manny and Druck will combine for 2. And this could be heartbreak here for BH3. 3 dead for them. Third cap goes in for TSM. They get the camo off the back of it as well, and now they have that 1 hill cushion.
And the camo as well. 48 seconds. Presumably going to play time here and only time. And they really have the spawn rotations. They've kept 1 or 2 dead for the last, you could say 90 seconds or so minimum.
Now TSM just have to think about trading kills out. BH3 though are like this. They're forcing TSM to think about the objective. Sunrise is going to just step inside. Moses is going to find a kill. He's going to say to TSM, if you want to kill us, you're going to have to come towards us. Here. Gets another one here onto Manny as well. The only problem is with this bottom middle hill, it is the scrappy one. It is the one where you can burn a little bit of time, but BH3 is still inside of it. And TSM, like you say, we're 2 dead.
Really nicely done from Sunrise, especially if it's another one here. That'd be huge. I love the hill bait, though. He drops out of hill to kill a guy in dip, and then in blue as well. Gets away with it. 20 seconds on the game clock. And with 2 dead, 3 dead now, this could be it.
Could be it. Really should be it here for TSM. Even though BH3 have made a couple of hero pushes towards the end of some of these hills with just 8 seconds to go, TSM are finding themselves 2 dead. BH3 are inside of that hill. They're stacking it as well.
Legend snipe right now. Well, they're going to get the kills here as well. 5 seconds on the game clock. They're still scoring.
Moses on the flank as well. Sunrise taken down. Soul Snipe now has to take the 1v1, but Bastos cleans him out. Moses is going to fly in towards bottom middle, but he is last alive. He will be taken down, and even though BH3 throw everything at TSM, it will be TSM who come out with the win at 3-2.
Soul Snipe was never worried. As you can tell, smile on his face. Just another Saturday morning at the office.
Got Druck hydrate.
Well hydrated Druck, you can tell by his gameplay. And TSM looks strong, they look confident. Some solid breaks there from BH3. Let's not forget TSM was leading 2-0. BH3 makes the game very interesting, proving that they have earned their spot in this pool out of the open bracket. However, TSM with very, very good late game management. And in the end, they make sure they got the kills that they needed to close that one out. But let's be honest, we were about 2 to 3 seconds away and maybe 1 kill away from that game going the distance. Continuing on, take a look at some stats from our game number 1.
Looking on the TSM side, it's Torlik who has the standout when it comes to KD, 28 and 17 for him. Druck again, a very, very good game for him, 23 and 19. On the other side is Bastos' 23 kills, some of them very, very influential to those hills going in the way of BH3. Sunrise, 21 and 19 for him. You're looking at damage stats, Torlik, a massive, massive standout. Only player breaking 8K. No one else breaking 7.
Damage. Torlik, dear God. That man came ready to play today. Take a look at some highlights from that game, number 1. Nice little back and forth game with some hills down to the wire. And if you're a BH3 fan, you like what you saw. However, you're probably aware TSM has come to play this weekend, but still quite back and forth through the mid-game mark.
It's interesting to just take a note of the particular game type we're playing as well here. You know, King of the Hill is more of a static game type where you're playing around that objective and kind of working your way around that objective. Historically, we always talked about TSM being a team that thrives in the chaos, where there's a map or mode which kind of encourages movement, encourages you to push and create opportunities. More kind of, like you say, a setup-based game type. And I think TSM, historically, maybe one of their weaker ones. They do come out with a win, of course, but BH3 really did give them a good run here. This play from Sunrise, by the way, just running through the bullets, the flames, the fire, all that good stuff to get that double kill to secure that hill.
Yeah, very Saving Private Ryan-esque. And slides up, picks up kills. Really nicely done. As you said, the game would have been over if he doesn't get that one, but also Soul Sniper, they play this so well. Mose tries to make something happen, but he's in a 1v3 to close out the game. And not much you can do there. Still a great game 1, though, and indicates that we could have still a pretty interesting series on our hands as we take a look ahead at what's to come. Slayer Recharge going to be your game number 2. Then into Neutral Bomb Fortress at minimum. We'll see if BH3 can push this one the distance, but TSM looking strong right now.
Yeah, good start for TSM, just to get that win on the board as well. The last thing you want to do is kind of open the door and give BH3 the confidence to believe that they can take a series like this. If they get out to that one map advantage, things feel very, very different for them. The TSM side, they probably feel like they've got enough to get through the series, but you don't want to make it any harder than you really have to at this point in the tournament, especially after what they did yesterday. So, pretty solid performance, I would say, from TSM there. A little bit of patience shown when they needed to.
Yeah, I was impressed. I was impressed with it. To let a few of those hills go, it could kind of chalk the mentals when it's your first main stage series of the day, but instead, they found the resilience and made sure to close out the game, really without leaving any question, despite the closeness of the scoreboard. Slayer now on Recharge, and we've seen them, of course, play this game type very fast. This is going to be a great one here because you know the BH3 guys can play at a pretty good clip as well. We'll see if this game tends to slow down or if we see either team get a margin that allows them to be a little bit more collapse-based, kind of fly a little bit faster.
Interesting if BH3 have the ability to be aware of timings on the map when it comes to power-ups as well, because I think one of the big differences we see between teams who make it late on a Saturday and early on a Sunday is just how they work in the build-up to those power-ups coming up. We'll go back into that in a second, our main stage match, because we have Nemesis versus Mindfreak. And I tell you what, APAC South is going to be very happy right now, because Mindfreak, I believe, are up 1-0 if my eyes do not deceive me.
They are. They apparently won Game 1 King, we're getting word, which is internationally interesting between these two in this international showdown. And I tell you what, a lot of people would have expected Nemesis to be taking this one comfortably, but Mindfreak certainly making things interesting.
And Mindfreak could have just been, I've got to say, impressing and getting better and better tournament by tournament as well. And we have a lot of M&K in this lobby as well.
Yes. Scoob versus Boot and Battle will be a fun one to watch all series long, without a doubt. We'll stick with this until we get back into our main stage match. And big shout out to the entire team across the venue. Production team in the back, allowing us to jump around on these stages to catch the action all around the venue. This is 20-15 now off the opening. Nemesis with a narrow lead, but as we know on this game type, it can be pretty snowballing.
Just to update you as well, it was a 4-2 King of the Hill win for Mindfreak on map number 1. So not really a close one either. It's pretty dominant scoreline when you look at it, but it looks like Nemesis have woken up a little bit here. 22-16, a pretty commanding lead for them. Snipe Drone leading the way, 10-3. We'll keep you updated on how this series continues and if Nemesis are able to get the win on the board, because we're going back to our main stage right now where we have TSM, of course, BH3 waiting to get this game number 2 underway, where if you're enjoying a little bit of Recharge Slayer, well, we'll keep it there. We'll stay here on Recharge.
Big fan of this game type. As we said, it can play a variety of ways, really depends on how wide open the game may or may not get blown depending on exactly how the timing of the kills go. As you said, the power-ups, it is a game type where if you don't have the advantages, you really don't want to be pushing your top 8 cats, pushing through bats. But when you do get those openings, when you do get the man advantage, the opportunities present themselves. We're underway here. TSM leading 1-0 in the series.
Couple of trades early on, but a good little duo inside of the turbine there from BH3 managed to take Druck down. We're tied up at 2-2, but most importantly, the power-up has been picked up here by Soul Snipe, so he's going to have the first camo of the game here. And he's going to have a nice flank onto Mose, and he might create an opportunity for Druck to move in and get that shock rifle as well. So TSM have got all the goodies now.
I like that from Soul Snipe. You thought he might play that slow, instead he just breaks the door down with the BR, just kicks it in and says, actually, we're coming into red pipes. Gives them a narrow lead here, not as much as you might expect off of a camo opening, 6-4.
Solid gets the kill without trading. Onto Sunrise there, 2-kill advantage now for TSM. Make that 3 as he cleans up some damage from a teammate to take down Mose as well. It's Druck now who has that shock rifle in his hands. He's got a couple more shots left with it. He's going to line one up onto Bastos here. Can't quite connect, so the Shroud will go down. A lot of info collected here by TSM on where the setup is from BH3 and where those players are all trapped. There's 3 of them at top of gold here.
This is not going to be easy. A 1v2. Druck makes it look easy. Very nice connect there. Eventually going to get pushed off of bat ledge just a bit, but stays alive long enough to somehow do cross-map damage on Mose, and that's probably going to be cleaned up. Really nicely done. This is so well handled from Druck. The positioning there, the patience on bat ledge.
Yeah, really, really strong play there from Druck, just valuing his life, knowing that his teammates were in a position to take their own individual fights, and when he got that damage call out, he was able to recommit to some of those fights. And now BH3 are in a little bit of a blender here. They are getting split spawn, they are taking damage, they are not able to get 4 on the map. And that's why you're seeing 17-7, the score is starting to get a little bit out of hand for them here.
Let's not forget it was just 6-4 moments ago, but my goodness, has TSM ever started to run away with it. Talik as well, it's a killing spree. Let's check out the vibes with a listen in on TSM.
What's up, red? I'm still top red.
Guys, stacks or no?
I can't see him, man.
One's
long. These guys still top red.
Yeah, he's gonna kill me. Long full shields, guys. Long full shield going trippy corner. This guy's brain dead.
Yeah, he's trippy corner to bottom.
And grapple. Trippy corner, grapple, guys.
C-plat and bottom mid.
Yes, very good. Yep. Still bottom mid. Watch out, bottom mid, Mose.
Nice job.
Bottom mid, hitting you. Bastos, kind of weak. I shot
glass.
Glass also weak, going top red, one shot.
I think one more respawn line.
Spawning A. I opened up A. I opened up A. Okay, come down long red.
I don't think so. No.
Spawning heaven, maybe?
Yeah. They're all you.
Yeah, hell. Yeah, I'm in.
Hell, gonna kill me.
Two in red. Two weak. Yeah, I'm just hiding.
Two in red, one Pepper, one's Mando.
On the top 8.
Enemy half
Weak is shock in 15.
Oh, no, he's not.
Yeah, bottom red. Oh, I'm fucking dead, bro.
No, long haul.
Yeah, what the fuck? Guess what bottom red is.
Bottom red. Yeah. Which one, bottom red?
Top A, one shot.
Top 800?
Top bottom clear.
There's a guy top 8.
Nice job.
Top A killed me. Yeah, top red is third. He's gonna go turbine, Jordan.
TSM sound very chill, very calm. Also questioning the intelligence of some of the players on the BH3 side, which is, maybe a way to get yourself locked into the game. Soul Snipe looking pretty good at the moment. It's 6-4 for him, and he's got a shock.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a little bit too calm, and it's because of the way that they're controlling this map. The lead that they've given themselves has provided such a cushion where, as you heard, most of the comments from Trey were simply, nice job. 2 moments later, nice job. Everyone
doing that.
Yeah, keep doing exactly what you're doing.
Keep doing that again.
Nearly doubling the score of their opponents at 32-18. It's a walk in the park in game number 2 so far.
We mentioned how the power has been controlled by TSM. Well, you're seeing it on your screen right now. Soul Snipe still has this shock rifle in his hand. He's taking no damage whatsoever, but the 2 kills going the way of BH3 might have to start worrying a little bit about some pressure coming in. Now that he knows where the spawns are, though, he's just going to rotate away from the push that's coming in from BH3 towards his spawning teammates. Be careful those bat ledge nades, though.
Look at you.
That's a power on the map now for BH3. Septic is going to get that next camo.
Oh, it's back whacked as well. Not worth the bat. Little team nade there, just to make sure you're awake. Can't let the lead get too far ahead without a little team nade. Just keep everyone on their toes. Septic trying to win this battle. Able to get away, but doesn't get a kill. Regardless, though, 36-27. I think with 3 dead here on the BH3 side, yes, they want to get back in this game, but more importantly, I think they want to stay mentally in this series, right? Yeah. At least, even if you're going to go down in this game number 2, which right now the score would indicate, could happen. I think they need to find some footing in this game time just to stay alive in the series, but it's back-to-back 3 deads, and now just like that, they're only down by 6.
Oh, Sunrise could have won that one and just kept that death down. And TSM got to be careful here because it's just started to slip a bit here. They got a little bit careless, a little bit reckless. A couple of 3 or 4 deads, like you say, has given BH3 an opening. And now it's looking like a very different game. 6 kills the difference between the two teams off the back of the camo pickup, which wasn't particularly effective. But it has created something for BH3 to think about a comeback with.
2 kills come in there for Tolic, making it 39-31, and
Enemy
things
team
like that now with 3 dead. Make things all the more difficult. Now, just like that, what was a 6-kill lead is now an 11-kill lead at 42-31. It's a fantastic push from TSM. They keep 3 dead as well. This really should be the home stretch.
Yeah, looks like TSM managed to get 4 back on the map, have managed to just put a bit more pressure onto BH3 and pick up a couple of kills unanswered, which has given them that cushion back. Sometimes little moments like that just re-lock you in where you can do 7 or 8 kills without really doing too much. Like, okay, guys, let's relax. Let's go back to what we know is going to be successful here. Next camo coming up as well. 4 to go now for TSM to go up by 2.
Impressed there with TSM, as you said, the bounce back, the way that they did not let themselves lose control of the game whatsoever. It was the exact opposite here with 48 kills on the board.
2 to go here for TSM before they're 2 up. Shock rifle in the hands of Tolic, who's having a great time.
They're just smiling and laughing. As we said, this, despite the fact that the game came close a moment ago, 1 kill to go.
Septic lined up. Tolic wants his final kill, you can tell. Everyone's running in, they just want to trade. They know that all they need to do is get that 1 kill. Manny's going to get it. Tolic all smiles, understandably so, just in the last moments of that game, as TSM will now be up by 2. And they're 1 game away from being perfect in pools. They're in a great time.
They are having a blast.
They are having a great... Can we just go to the listing now?
I was going to say.
I don't think we're allowed to do that, are we?
We got yelled at last time we did that. Content warning from the FCC.
I just got to confirm from our producer that we are definitely not.
Definitely not doing that. They said, yeah, got in all sorts of trouble. But I tell you what, TSM not in trouble. That's what TSM stands for, actually. As they're having a blast, as you said. And I tell you what, if you didn't catch this exact TSM roster years ago, these guys are known for having a blast. The friendship, the chemistry, it is on display yet again. Smile on the face of Trey as well. And I'll tell you what, it's hard not to root for these guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you see a bunch of dudes who love Halo just laughing on the main stage, it's a lot of fun to watch, and the games have been impressive so far. They find themselves now just 1 game away from closing out Pool A.
One thing I've always enjoyed about TSM as well is they enjoy each other's success as much as their own. You know, it really is a brotherhood. You always see it online. You see the discourse between the players. They love playing together. It's great to see them all back together as well, and being able to play under the TSM banner as well, which I think is an amazing thing. A great pickup for TSM, of course, who came into the Halo scene this year, but to get this roster back together under that banner, I think it's maybe the start of something pretty special for these guys.
I agree. It feels like with the history they've had, and as you can see, the chemistry they have, taking down Optic Gaming, just in case you missed it yesterday. Take a look at the stats here. 50-38 was your final score. We'll interrupt that thought just to take a look at the scoreboard very quickly. It was Manny at 16 and 14, but even bigger margins coming in from Tolic at 14 and 7. He was smiling for good reason.
Everybody positive apart from Drug. Maybe that's what they were laughing about. Maybe they were highlighting that to him. But yeah, for BH3, unfortunately, this kind of looking like it could be the end of the road if they aren't able to get the win in this series. They will, of course, have to play Optic still, but some highlights here. This shot from Drug just kind of sums up a lot of what we saw from Drug yesterday. It's just this general sequence after that, staying alive, the rest of the team being able to keep him alive by winning their individual fights. It's just great teamwork from TSM. It's what we've known them for over the years.
Yeah, and I also love, like we said, there was a moment where this game came within 5. Towards the late game, to be honest, BH3, it took way too long for them to find their footing, but I don't really fault BH3. I think it was just very good gameplay from TSM that kept them in the blender. But I love what I saw from TSM. They slowed the game down when they needed to, and when it came within 5, moments later, it was an 11-kill lead. Just really well done. As we said, all laughs, all smiles for TSM, and to be honest, the only people unhappy is probably much to the chagrin of the United States Customs and Border Patrol guards that tried to keep Druk out of this country for so long. And guess what?
Do.
They are shaking their fists in their back rooms right now.
Yep. Should have kept that guy longer. They knew how good he was. They were like, we can't have this guy.
And guess what?
Back on our main stage. He's going to win trophies.
You can only keep this team apart for so long, and as soon as they're back together, they're under a TSM banner. They're taking down the most recent champions, and it was just fate. that they would come back together and find themselves doing not only so well in this tournament, but as we said, now with TSM as well, and an organization fitting of these 4 players. See if they can close out the pool here in the 3rd game.
It's such a... I kind of talked about this yesterday a little bit before we get into this game number 3, but, you know, chemistry is such a big thing in Halo, isn't it? It's like, if everyone sees the game the same, individually you might not be the best in the world. You know, we talk about like a Renegade, whatever it might be. But I want to give a lot of credit to like a Soul Sniper and a Manny, because when they went away and they played on different rosters, they didn't look like that same players. They look like, you know, they weren't able to reproduce the form that they're able to produce in this team. And I think it's just because everyone knows and expects what the other one is going to do. And it's just like, I can play like this because I know that my teammate will watch me, or I know I'll be watching a team. All these kind of things. Everyone's seeing the game the same way for TSM. And I think if everyone sees the game the same way, the majority of the time, it means you're going to have 2 bandits looking at the same thing instead of 1.
Exactly.
It's so interesting.
And also flying at the same thing together, right? We're taking a look over. We're jumping back over to the Mindfreak Nemesis series. Mark, you promised the people we would keep them updated on this series, and that's exactly what we're doing. Nemesis does take that Game 2 Slayer, which lets us take a look here at the Game 3 Neutral Bomb.
A little bit of Fortress, like you said, a little bit of Neutral Bomb. Only just got this one underway. Nobody really with an opportunity to get inside of the base with the bombers yet. But one thing I am excited about, we're going to see a lot of M&K sniping in this particular game. And it's going to be Mindfreak who actually pick up 3 kills here. Oh, it's going to be Wootum who is last alive. He is the opposite side of the map. Of course, some problems, but there's Plasma.
50-33, by the way. Updates from the team back. You just know the Nemesis took that Slayer very comfortably. Almost a steak dinner. Bit early in the day for that, though, so I appreciate the...
Speak for yourself.
It's true, actually. I could probably crush a steak.
You would crush a steak right now. Wow. Can't think of anything else but steak.
Yeah,
that's kind of just kind of chalk the car.
Deeply apologize for everyone.
Yeah.
2 dead for each side here. The bomb being very neutral, as it often is on Fortress, tends to stay at the 0 mark. As we saw yesterday in Optic Gaming, even with Optic Gaming playing Gen G, sometimes you have to put like 100 kills on the board, and that's not an exaggeration, nor hyperbole, before you get the first bomb in.
1 zillion kills.
Yeah. It does take sometimes up to a zillion.
We'll keep you updated, everyone. We're going back to our main stage right now. We'll see, and the international battle continues. Historic international battle. England versus Australia. A little bit of New Zealand in there as well, I believe. As we are tied up at 0-0. But it's Mindfreak who are pressurizing Nemesis. As the overshield's coming up as well. We're actually going to stay here for just a second. All right. Just until this overshield gets picked up. I think our good friend Michael just picked that one up. Snipe Drone has managed to get away with the overshield, but he's last alive.
And it was 3 dead as well. Gonna go ahead and check out map 3 on the main stage. By the way, don't forget twitch.tv/HCS if you want to keep that tab open. And by the way, you should have that tab open. Get that on the second monitor. Maybe a mobile device, maybe a tablet.
Maybe an analog device.
Get the frequency correct on your FM radio. You can pick up all the vibes, all the feeds in analog 8K audio. Twitch.tv/HCS once again.
But once again, game type stays the same as we move the series back to our main stage between TSM and BH3. It's going to be neutral bomb once again. Lots of sniper rifles available for us here, and I kind of want to see it in the hands of Druck. I've got to be honest, he's always a fun sniper to watch. He reminds me a little bit of Legit, the way that he would snipe. He gets really hot sometimes, and he's just a lot of fun to watch. But it's going to be Septic on the M&K. He's going to pick it up on the BH3 side. Torlik is going to get it here on the TSM side, but he's last alive. You can see the overshield has been popped, it's been picked up. Ooh. Bastos gets a little bit of help from Mose. There's an opportunity for BH3 to have 2 sniper rifles and an overshield off the rip here.
I like the comparison to Legit. Also, let's not forget headwear accessory also being a huge factor in the sniping as well. Many of you who watched Days of Halo 2 will understand just how important headwear accessories can be to the game.
Managed to get a sniper rifle back here for Bastos, and
surgical.
Lovingly inserts a bullet to the back of his head. Mose gets taken down as well. It's going to be Sunrise last alive now as TSM are trying to hunt for this final kill. We can hear him.
Downstairs.
Gets the kill finally. 3 dead again for BH3, but where is that bomb? It's being armed, and Torlik is in your armory.
Wow.
He's got a sniper rifle, and that is very efficient work here from TSM, and BH3 is still 3 dead.
Wow, that is fast. We just got done. Jeez, Soul Snipe, not done yet. 3 dead yet again. Take a look at the outslaying here. Just got players that on BH3 still on 1 kill. Meanwhile, Manny over here on 5 and 3. Jeez, Sunrise somehow ducks under the tag, but still the pressure continues. We just got done talking about how it took Optic around 80 to 100 kills on their first arm. First time we saw them on the main stage, and instead TSM, their recent opponents, they armed the bomb within 1 minute, which is pretty unheard of, to be honest, at this level.
Yeah, very, very efficient stuff coming in from TSM with that bomb arm, and now they can afford to just play the Slayer game if they want to, just pin back BH3 into their base. Really big challenge there coming in from Soul Snipe as well to win that one. BH3 find themselves 2 dead again.
Overshield bottom mid about to pop. Could determine the next swing without a doubt. Keep an eye on that as the ring battle will begin.
Man, he's just being so frustrating. I think Septic actually managed to pick up that overshield. He did indeed, but he's just getting nuked. At the moment, a lot of shrapnel, a lot of fragmentation pieces heading towards him from those grenades. That means the overshield is gone, and now his life is. No, didn't really get to do much with that. Poor Rob.
Yeah, pretty impressed with the overshield meltage coming in from TSM, because they're able to shut that down right away, even though they repulse there on the bomb. Even though they were not able to grab it, they were able to put all the guns and nades on it, shut that overshield down, make sure that it was not a factor in the battle.
Most of the sticky repulse doesn't quite manage to nail the timing in that particular play. Looks like Mose is the saving grace at the moment for BH3. He's the only player who's managed to get into the positive for them. Sunrise is evens, but Mose at 8 and 6. Soul Snipe under a little bit of pressure, but one thing that's a bit of a concern here is just the bomb progress for BH3. Haven't really been able to get it onto the TSM side of the map whatsoever, and Tolik's inside of your base, and he's hunting for the respawners. And maybe this sniper rifle as well.
Able to play it there, will go down. And he's just brawling here, like Dyson's punch out. He's able to pick up another kill and gonna punch anyone that might get in his way as he continues to escort the bomb to K.
Now we get to see some drop with the snipe.
That'll work.
Very kind of him not to connect with the sniper bullet, just pull out the bandit, clean up that one. There's one to the body of Sunrise. Septic's got to be careful here. Drock knows you're there. So that kill will be picked up elsewhere. 2 dead here on the side of BH3. Drock might have to think about backing up a little bit here, but it's not really in his DNA to do so. Mose is going to be challenging from above. Just pushes him away with that repulsed. To keep that sniper rifle in the hands of TSM here. Still up by 1.
A bit of just an absolute kind of mid-map battle.
Oh!
Okay. And based off of that, let's just go ahead and go to TSM, listen.
Leave that, leave that.
There's snipe.
There's nice one.
See him.
Two top dark. Two there's top dark, guys. One shot, close. There's snipe spawn. Snipe spawn, the archers up. Yeah, the archers are going their bomb. Archers have. Yo, there's snipe quarter, Becky.
Nice job.
Snipe quarter getting fucked up.
Keep slaying here.
Spiral, hard one. Yeah. There's one spawn. Keep base for their backline. He's gonna push me.
Yeah.
I have needs your sniper.
Watch you guys. Let's blow you, Hunter.
Watch out the side spawn. Watch out the port. Watch out the porch, fuck. Watch out the porch. Watch out the porch. I'm dead. I'm dead. Nice. We got it. Porch. 3 guys left. 3 guys right. 3 guys right side.
Yeah. 2 going bond.
3 there. Shot on me. 2 going bond, 3. 2 going 3. They're bond, 3 guys. What's the bond? Why is it right to the bond? Yeah, both of you bond. Look at the bond. You're going.
Once again, the chill vibes coming in from TSM, and why not, right? You're up by 2, they get that second bomb arm, and they also are 2 up in the series and feeling very good. So, kind of liking this from TSM. Obviously, they're playing hard, but they're also having a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we expect to kind of hear the same exact vibe and tone of the listening, and I think that's call it. Managing every single step around the spiral staircase. And it's fine medieval flame. I gotta wonder canonically, right, if we think of Halo Universe taking place around 2552, how did they find this castle landscape to fight in? I'm just trying to figure out where this fits in the global picture.
Yeah, it's not,
sorry, in the universe.
I'm not breaking down the lore of that.
I've been trying to figure it out for a long time.
It's for another person who's far more intelligent and well-read than me.
Feels like I'm watching A Knight's Tale and also Halo Infinite.
Where's Hidden Experience?
Yeah. Luke would be able to tell us exactly what's going on here. Overshield popping in 2 seconds.
6 minutes and 20 seconds left in this game.
Thanks.
Septic finds a combination of grenades and bullets still extremely painful, regardless of what time period you're playing in here in the Halo universe. There's the hard shot. It's always funny, isn't it? That sometimes you see the easier shots be missed, and then immediately it's like, oh, I might die if I don't hit this one, and they just hit that one.
Something about the pressure.
Yeah.
Certainly making
People
shots.
thrive under it.
It's true. That's why they're here on the main stage. 2-0 still with less than 6 minutes left in the match. And as you said, with that one bomb cushion and the way the kills are going, nice job returning to center. Soul Snipe will stay alive with repulse as well with the snipe. But it feels like that extra bomb cushion lets them really just slay out here and keep doing things like this.
I mean, that's a disgusting shot there from Soul Snipe, the little quick scope. Now they're looking to move that bomb. A second one gets picked up now. It's going to be 3 dead. A killing spree here for Soul Snipe. He wants the triple. They've got him trapped on the elbow. This is not where you want to be if you're BH3, especially if these grenades don't pick up kills. Sunrise tries to peek. But now some exchange of grenades and artillery coming in. It's 3 dead again for BH3. TSM probably thinking about moving this one in.
Might even leave Mose there. Mose wins that one from the opposite bond. Probably could have left him, but eventually he's taken down. So that kill from Mose will buy them just a little bit of time here, though. And let's not forget, 5 minutes left on the clock. If BH3 can find some magic, they can get right back in this one. It's not really indicating that's going to be possible, but let's see what they have up their sleeve.
They get the bomb back to a neutral position. And they have Bastos with the snipe in his hands, but only 1 bullet to work with, so it's going to have to be a bullet that counts.
He's holding on to it. He's like, I'm going to save this thing.
Overshield coming up in around 15 seconds as well. Always an interesting choice to see players pushing the elbow, not through the armory. Armory has a little bit more access off the respawn to be able to grenade that bomb arm if it does come in. Worth saving. Worth saving that bullet.
1v2 for Bastos, so he's actually going to lose the overshield. He's going to have to challenge it right about now. Nice handle by Manny. Taking minimal damage there, even though he's getting absolutely ripped from A1.
Big damage output here from Manny. Just shot 3 different players.
Love the angles there.
Very creative stuff coming in from Manny with those angles. Repulse up into the sky just to kind of draw the attention from BH3. Well, down to the courtyard right now by the Repulse. Going to be thrown back up towards the armory, which means that BH3 are going to have to go and grab it and bring it back towards mid-map again.
I love a little, just especially with a 2-0 cushion lead, just a little repulse of the bomb. It's like an extra when you're leading maybe in a flag game, just a little toss of the flag out front. Just you deal with this. You take this. It's going to buy even more time, even more space on the map. Bastos last player alive yet again. Sunrise spawning with him though in the cave.
Tolic at 20 and 12 here, by the way. Sniper's coming up as well.
Big numbers.
That's a neighbor death, by the way. Die just as the sniper rifles are coming up, just so you can grab yours off respawn. Smart play.
Arrived precisely when he meant to.
Sorry guys, I got outshot. Yeah.
I'll get our snipe though.
I got snipe.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll pick up snipe. It worked out. 3 minutes left now on the clock, and TSM just continuing to slay and hold down mid-map control. And as we said, it's even more punishing. That 1 bomb cushion really changes the dynamic of the gameplay, because even if BH3 were to, jeez, talk about getting sandwiched from both angles there, tower to tower to elbow.
Hello.
Snipe then also connecting and continuing to deal damage as well. Bastos has to retreat to ring, and with Overshield coming up in 15, he's going to have to figure out a way to spend the extra time in bottom mid. Never mind.
Mose is going to peek. Gets away with his life, just about. Sunrise is going to peek as well. Soul Snipe should be able to stay alive here on the spiral with 2 bullets left to work with. Overshield comes up. Manny will grab it. Manny will pop it. TSM looking in full control of the map here. 2 minutes left still. Time for BH3 if they, to pull something off. But with the pattern of the game and with the heavy slaying in the favor of TSM, it's looking like a pretty tough task.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing anything in that regard. Like you said, it's just been way too control-based. They continue to hold these overshields, these snipes, and also the angles that they need to. He's not done yet. Manny even gets some extra damage as well. And they keep BH3 with 2 dead. At this point, Manny is 22 and 19 as well.
Just been a complete series so far from TSM.
Yeah.
They were tested a little bit in game number 1. They managed to hold their nerve. Game number 2 looked very, very comfortable, very, very confident, and the same could be said here in game number 3 as well. Some big shots being hit, some flashy plays being made, but most importantly, efficient with the objective when they need it to be as well. 2-0. Rock's just holding this bomb bottom middle at the moment, forcing BH3 to come to him if they want to even think about getting this bomb.
Maybe it was like a medieval civilization kind of on a foreign planet that was just kind of timeline-wise.
We just haven't experienced it yet.
Quite delayed, quite delayed in terms of being just tier 1 civilization.
There's a lot happened at the Halo universe.
Yeah,
it's not surprising that this one slipped through the cracks in the literature.
It could be something. They're kind of like an isolated planet, right? Just
Yeah.
a bit behind that of Earth, that of Reach, everywhere else. 56 seconds left.
Interesting that the inhabitants were human-sized, due to, I'm guessing, by
Right.
the,
Oh, no.
the
Well, I don't
armor
know.
that's inside of the armory.
Keep in mind how tall Spartans are, so actually
It could be really
actually it could be quite big
humans.
Well, we don't even know if they're human.
It's true.
Just big creatures, right? But based on the tools they would have used to construct this.
Large
Yeah,
amounts.
a lot to think about here. 30 seconds left
30
on the clock.
seconds
and
left,
Druck just
2 to
milking the
0
time.
here for TSM as a couple of grenades go down on the back stairs. Not going to be able to connect with those, but promise for BH3, the one thing they don't need is the bomb on their side of the map, because they are not going to be able to arm it in those 20 seconds. It's about survival, it's about preservation for them at the moment. It's TSM stroll, I think, is the correct word to use here towards victory in this series. And maybe they are going to look for another bomb plant here, or maybe BH3 are going to give them something to think about. Druck gets that bomb out the front of the base, though.
5 seconds left on the clock. As you said, it really has been a Saturday afternoon stroll. The clock will tick down.
1 second to go, 1 second elapses. It will be TSM who top their pool. They are perfect in pools. 3 to 0, their final record. And 3 to 0 in this series as well. For BH3, unfortunately, I believe that's the end of the road for them. Even if they beat Optic Gaming, I'm pretty sure they don't have enough in the tank when it comes to games played, games won, all that kind of stuff to progress into winner's side of the bracket and keep their tournament going. But for TSM, job done, I think, is as simple as you can put it and as accurately as you can put it as well.
Yeah, really a remarkable pool play performance from them. And I think in terms of the pacing and their trajectory of their weekend, to have that series on a Saturday afternoon, it's quite a good momentum builder as well, right? They did the hard work yesterday, taking down Optic 50 to 49 in a game 5. So to have a series like this to look forward to just continues building the momentum, building the confidence they can take this series right into the champ bracket. I'll tell you what, as we said, the brackets are going to get interesting. They're going to get dicey based on these upsets. Take a look at the final scoreboard of the series.
Yeah, this time it's Soul Snipe who went off. We saw him with that sniper rifle in his hands. It's really, really crispy shots. 27 and 18 for him here on Fortress Bomb. Nobody really had a bad game across the board. No surprise to see that. On the TSM side, we'll take a look at the damage as well, see who was outputting the most of it. Soul Snipe and Torlik. Players who seem to have those weapons a little bit more than others, but Torlik is like, I've always said, I remember going back to year 2, I think it was, I was like talking about underrated players, and Torlik has always been in that category for me. So consistent in his shot.
They call him the Hunter. You might have noticed.
No, I think they just call him They call him Hunter because that's his name.
That's his first name. That's right.
Yeah.
That is his first name. But imagine though, you know how fitting that is, because of how he plays the game.
Incredible.
Oh man, we're having just as much fun as TSM up here, I think, as we get to see the highlight reel from that game, and that's really actually all it was a highlight reel. It feels like a farmer's market Saturday afternoon for them, having a stroll, coffee in hand.
You were going to say Sunday, then adjusted to Saturday, and I want to know why. Why this farmer's market is a different vibe?
No,
Saturday
it's because today's
Sunday?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. In the same way that Hunter's name is Hunter.
Oh, goodness, this is a good way to start the day and a very good way to finish pool play for the side of TSM. It is a clean sweep with a very, very convincing win, and the games only got more dominant as the series went on. It's a 3-0 finish for TSM and a 3-0 in the pool as well.
Yep, as I say, job done for TSM. 3-0 in the pools. They will be very, very happy and looking forward to bracket play. Interested to see how the tournament develops for them. I think they really have put a marker down here at DreamHack at the HCS Open Dallas. And I think that everyone who is looking at the bracket at the moment is probably not wanting to play TSM with the way that they just look like they're all buttoned up and playing extremely well. One thing I've been impressed with, by the way, is like it's not... Historically, sometimes we'd have those games with TSM where it looked a little bit reckless at times. A little bit too quick, like they're trying to force the pace, but I think there's been a good balance from them so far.
I think so too. I mean, let's not forget the absolute dominant 5-flag win they had on Aqua CTF over Optic, and every time we went into those listen-ins, it was charged, it was chaotic, but it was this organized chaos, right? It's not kind of everything about to go off the rails. Like you said, it's been an organized game for them.
Well, as you can see, Optic Gaming are setting up on our main stage right now, and they will be playing against BH3 in just a few moments' time. We'll go for a quick break in the meantime while the players get set up. Don't go anywhere though. Optic versus BH3 coming up next.
Make it a double for formal. Sometimes you need someone to step up, and Formal said, I ain't here to lose.
chat. I am such a fanboy. Cap coming in, and it's an overkill.
Wow! My God!
Yeah, I remember I'm like 10 years old. My brother's the only one with the Xbox, and I'm like having to go into his room while he's sleeping. I'm setting my alarm as a 10-year-old for like 2 a.m. And I'm going into his room, playing from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m., playing Team Snipers with no sound, no mic, nothing, just on his account, in the dark, and just having so much fun. That's just like an insane thought as a 10-year-old to be doing that. You realize like this game is like a masterpiece. Truly a masterclass of video games. And if you weren't part of it, then you weren't part of it. But if you were, then like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it made me fall in love with video games completely. It was just like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew that my passion was here, and I knew that it was just like, it was where I wanted to be.
Formal the multi-FPS god for a reason.
One of the best shooters, one of the best teammates, and one of the best champions, I think, to ever hold a control.
I just don't see anybody topping what he has managed to accomplish.
2 games, 2 world championships. Most people dream of being at the top of the pile in 1 game, which they work their whole career for, their whole life for.
The legacy that he's cemented is just being just championship after championship after championship.
He is the FPS god.
He puts pretty much everything that he has into competing.
By the time that this thing is done, Formal is going to be cemented in the history books of first-person shooters.
My first event was MLG Anaheim 2009. I went when I was like 13 years old. I didn't do too well, but like just the experience of like an old MLG event is just like something that if you didn't experience, you just didn't experience.
Walshy is down there.
Look at your fans!
Earning the right to call themselves champions.
You know, growing up, you see all these people like T-Squared and Walshy and Ogre Twins, and you kind of just like, you want to be them. My first event was definitely a disaster. I got kicked out of the hotel I was staying in. A couple buddies of mine were throwing stuff out the window at the Marriott and ended up hitting a security guard with a milkshake. So before we know it, there's banging on the doors and security guards are kicking us out. My dad has come get me. It's just a complete disaster. And safe to say I wasn't allowed to go to another event for like a couple years. What's the thing is, that's when I like went to like our side and like shouldered it and went back to their side.
My very first interaction with Matt, I think he like sent me a friend request and I declined it. And then he sent me a message and he said, why'd you decline it? And I said, I don't know you. And he said, well, get to know me.
This rando kid Formal who I'd never even heard of just kept killing me over and over.
I remember matching this kid online in the MLG playlist, and he was always just very noticeably skilled and noticeably a nasty sniper.
When you were watching his POV, it was just this insane consistency of reticle placement. When he was sniping, it was always on the head, and he would always snap on and just hit really, really solid shots.
Doing that as a child is crazy. It was very clear from the beginning he was built different.
As he started to succeed, started to win events, he realized that this might be a place where he could do some real damage.
And it was unheard of for such a random name in the sense where it's just some online kid to come and make such a big splash on the scene.
When you see Formal on the server, it's a problem.
Let's go. Over. Tag. Tag. Trust.
Around 2014, there were a couple Halo players that were trying to switch over to Call of Duty, and Formal being one of them.
It was a really big deal when Formal switched over to Call of Duty. And he wasn't the only one. Players have made switches back and forth between the two.
I was making the decision to leave Halo just because there weren't really any Halo tournaments anymore. We had the AGLs, which crashed and burned. Halo wasn't really popping. It was Halo 4. Like, it was just a really dark time for Halo, and COD was popping.
Formal really kind of joined the scene in an explosive way.
The fact that he's able to switch titles so easily is almost unheard of, but I honestly, I would even go as far and say it impossible.
He seemed like, I don't know how to word this nicely. He seemed like he had just all the confidence in the world.
It's just like a whole new scene. They didn't really have any respect for me because I was like a Halo pro. But I mean, like slowly but surely, you see me just like start getting better and finding new teammates and just like slowly climbing the ladder.
Formal was at the time playing for a team called the Envy, and he sent me a DM. He sent me a DM and says, I heard you guys were gonna make a roster move. And this was year 2 of him switching from Halo to Call of Duty. And within a month, he was on the team.
Arguably the biggest roster move in COD history, Formal and Crim6 joined Nadeshot and Scum. That team, they won so much that we kind of all got used to it.
Once I joined Optic, it was like, yeah, it was for real. Everyone knew who you were. If you stood still for a little bit, there would just be like a line forming, and then you would have to like sign, so you get trapped for like hours.
I don't know if it's like the online era of COD that's kind of like been the final, like, you know, the thing that drained me, like, final, but it's just getting on and scrimming every day. It's just like not it for me anymore, man. And I might just need a break from it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean like a year break, and maybe I'll want to do it again.
Because when you're on Optic and like you're going to a champs, like all eyes are kind of on you. Everyone wants to see you fail, you know. Anytime you lose, it's like, yeah, they let you know it. So it can definitely eat at a person.
Towards the end of his COD career, he just wasn't in love with the games as he once was. And it really, you could tell.
Nothing was going my way, no matter how much time I was putting in, just like wasn't really making a difference. I was losing the passion, and that whole year was just like horrible. You learn a lot about yourself, and you learn a lot about like, you know, what exactly you want to keep doing. If you're gonna keep doing it like this, then what's the point? And that's kind of where I took a step back from Call of Duty in 2021. I was kind of realizing like I was not really like a detriment to my team, but I definitely wasn't the best version of myself. And I realized that I lost the passion for COD and just kind of needed to take a break and just kind of find myself again.
It was wild to hear that Matt was retiring. We're still at a time in esports where we don't know how many years each player might have, but it felt like with Formal that there was a lot more gas in the tank.
When you go through any like trials, like I've seen a lot of situations. I've seen a lot of like, you know, people come and go. I've seen careers crash and burn, and like I don't want that to happen to myself. So like kind of just reflect, and you realize like what steps did I take to get to this spot? What steps do I have to take to get out of it? You learn a lot about yourself, and you kind of see what you're made of, and see if you're really, you know, down to get into it and like fix it. But like this is like the dream that everyone like kind of strives for, you know, as a kid, like especially nowadays, like playing video games for a living is like a dream. So I was down to just like buckle in and, you know, just like fix it.
So Formal announces he's coming back.
So when we had the rumors about Formal coming back, I'm not gonna lie, I think there was a smile on everyone's face. Just a little like, this is time.
Everyone is talking about Formal. He is coming back to Halo for the first time, and he is frying. I mean, the damage that he was putting up in some of these like AIDS lobbies that he was in was absurd.
He's starting to be answered. There's one, there's two. Formal's back, baby.
Before we know it, we've won back to back to back, and it's like all that doubt's gone, and you know, like everyone's kind of realizing like this is like kind of insane.
You know, you need that type of veteran experience and that type of player that keeps the morale high, that keeps you focused, you know, lets you know that everything's okay if something goes wrong.
Matt really had that leadership. He had that X factor, especially being a seasoned champion. He just knew what it took in-game and out of game to kind of talk to us and coach us on those aspects.
What happens whenever he does love a game? He immediately is one of the best.
There's a lot of people who have a lot of wins, but there's only a few, I would say, that earned every single win in a dominant fashion.
Like it was gonna be done. Formal for the killing spree. Hits the brain from the top. Making a double kill. Will he get the trip here?
If you look at the trajectory of his career, he plays what he wants to play, and when he wants to play it, he's the best.
Pushing aggressively as it's a triple now for Formal. He wants more! Give it to him!
When he won that World Championship and fulfilled what he said he wanted to do, you can see how much it meant to him. He got back to the top and I think proved to not only the fans, but himself that it was the right decision to make to come back.
Formal's legacy is absolutely ridiculous.
He has a lot of respect in the esports community.
I mean, it's a crazy accolade, and not a lot of people have it for a reason.
I mean, that's the thing the stories are made of.
Halo is always gonna have a special place to me just because of like the years of like 2007 to like 2011. It was just like, it just felt like a dream. It felt like I was living in Fantasyland, like I was just off in La La Land by myself, just like living every day to like the fullest, like in Halo. Like, it sounds kind of weird to say, but it was truly just like a really impactful time in my life.
And I think for a lot of people, Halo has been that foundation as an FPS for 2 decades now, essentially. And I think that's why Halo really just runs deep.
It's obvious to me how much Formal loves Halo and how dear it is to his heart. Now, you know, even after he switched over to another title, he came back to Halo because it's really like his one true love when it comes to esports. You know, Formal and Halo go hand in hand.
What this whole journey has done is just given purpose to my life. I've always, you know, appreciated these times, even in the dark times and the bad times. You still appreciate what it is, and like I wouldn't want to change anything for the world.
Welcome back, folks, to HCS DreamHack here in Dallas. The open bracket teams have entered the pools. They've played 2 games, but unfortunately, Dan, none of them have really been able to cause any kind of upset. None of them have left their mark thus far.
Yeah, been a couple of maps that have gone their way. BH3 did find one against Gen G, for example, but sadly, no one has found a victory thus far. Unreal Nightmare currently playing against Zero Tenacity, so we'll see whether that trend will continue, but BH3, Mindfreak, and Alpha all 0-2 right now, which means you're starting to get to the nitty-gritty part of the pool where you have to play against the big boys if you've not already played them already.
It's last chance saloon for our open bracket teams, and we will be keeping our eyes on BH3 versus Optic Gaming. So, when your back's against the wall, when you need to win a series, it is certainly not Optic Gaming you want to be seeing sitting on the other side of that stage, Dan.
Definitely is not. Of course, Optic Gaming did fall victim to TSM last night, losing 3-2, 50-49, an insane way to end Friday. But it does mean now that Optic cannot finish top of this pool after TSM took down BH3. It means Optic are now playing just to try and solidify second place and a spot in the winner's bracket, of course, of the championship bracket. This is how the series layout's going to look, though. We start off with Oddball Street, Slayer Solitude, CTF Origin, King of the Hill Recharge, and Slayer Livefire. Layout-wise, I'd say there's a... Well, okay, no, there isn't a chance for BH3. I was going to try and give you something. I really wanted to. maybe CTF Origin, you know, with it being one of the newer ones, Slayer Solitude is still somewhat new. Some of the bigger and better teams do struggle on the newer things rather than the older, you know, Slayer Livefire, for example, King of the Recharge should all go in favor of Optic Gaming. Oddball Street should as well, but you can always give the newer game types a chance.
The tried and tested games, game modes and maps should always go the way of the more practiced seasoned team. And at the moment, that is Optic Gaming, of course, coming off the back of a championship winning run in Arlington. Formal finally getting his hands on a chip after nearly 600 days. So it was long awaited, many second places, many scars were opened up, but he was finally able to put that behind him and lift that gold. You could see it in how much relief he had when he managed to pick up the trophy as well, Dan. He needed that.
Boy, he did. Yeah, he, I think, just got recognition over that he can do it. He can still do it. He doesn't have to move on. Let me go back to different games again. Instead, he is still very much in the game he loves. Now we'll see whether Optic Gaming can make short work of BH3, or are we going to see another twist in the tail to change things up here in Dallas?
Optic Gaming likely looking at this series here as a perfect table setter for them for their Saturday run. Things didn't go according to plan yesterday, so they know they're going to have a tough task on their hands when they, or if they get through BH3, when they look towards the championship bracket, because they know there's a tough test coming their way.
Oh yeah, just to give you an idea of how tough that test could be, with how things currently stand in the tables, Optic Gaming would essentially swap seeds with TSM, of course. That would mean they would be playing against Shopify Rebellion in winners bracket round 1. A nice little rematch of the grand finals just to kick us off in the first match in bracket play on Saturday.
I think it's also a rematch from where they met at the exact same point in the tournament at Arlington as well. So they're forming a little bit of a habit meeting each other right outside of the pool. So at the moment the score 45 seconds in climbing,
44
with Formal with the hands on the ball and hasn't had to register a kill thus far.
This should be the most comfortable 3-0 that Optic Gaming have had so far. If it isn't, then I'd be concerned. And that is no disrespect to BH3. I think the trouble is when you get to this point as one of the open teams, you're playing back-to-back-to-back games and you've just lost to Gen G, which is your arguably closest game, then you lose 3-0 to TSM. Do you get a little bit deflated? Do you start to get a little bit tired as well? Play those long, grueling open bracket scenarios all throughout Friday, and then you suddenly get thrown to the wolves here on Saturday against 3 teams in pool play. And at the moment, Optic are making it look very easy.
There is an expression in sport, maybe it carries through the esports, that winning is a habit, well perhaps losing can be too, and BH3 have done a lot of it here today, the early hours of this morning. So, hoping to bounce back against the green wall.
Enemy team,
there are definitely easier teams to play in your final game, or potential final game, I should say. At the moment, it's been relatively smooth sailing. Formal only has 1 kill and 1 death after 85 seconds of ball time.
I thought they were going to win a round without Formal even needing a kill at one point. Actually, he was holding the ball. He scored 69 of those seconds. Nice, but looks like BH3 are going to let Bound just pick up these final seconds, and that round 1 flew by. Blink and you will miss it. Optic looking like they are very much prepared here for a Saturday run.
Smooth sailing in round 1. As round 2 gets underway, does BH3 have a response? Or is the expected result going to come a lot sooner than maybe a lot of people anticipated? Will they make quick work, light work of BH3? Third seeded European team just have not been able to get anything together here on Saturday morning.
I'd argue that this is the worst game type you could have started off against Optic Gaming as well. We know how good Optic can be on Oddball in general with how they control the map and how the freedom, if you give it to the likes of Bound, I mean, all 4 of them, I don't know, I was going to name names, but all 4 of them, they have the freedom.
You would have just been naming all 4 players.
If they start to marauder around the map and just be able to get behind you and start to delete you from every angle, I mean, they have fun with Oddball, do Optic Gaming, especially against teams that don't necessarily have the same structure. They're able to kind of bully them a little bit. And I think this is almost like a warm-up for Optic Gaming. They'll be just saying, look, let's take some gunfights, let's make sure we're shooting straight before we get into that winners bracket matchup, because the pace is certainly going to change if it is Shopify Rebellion winners bracket round 1.
3 dead for Optic. Renegades alone in PD. making this really difficult kill. Septic will finally lock it in, but Renegade was able to delay for so long. The rest of his members have spawned up and closed the distance and got right back to where the ball is. And just like that, what was 3 dead for Optic is now 2 dead for BH3, and Bound has the ball once more.
Push from Bastos just to clean up that kill, but as always, Optic are just waiting in the wings to get any sort of extra damage on the player. Now they can hold once more, and I do appreciate that BH3 are trying to break. They are actually putting some method to the madness here and planning a form of attack, but it is taking them a long time to do so, which is just giving so much ball time over to Optic. Other teams that compete at the highest level are so quick to plan their attacks because they just know. They've been in that situation enough times that they say, look, when we're 4 dead and they're holding the ball at PD, we're either doing push A or push B. You know, sometimes there'll be a push C that they have that they keep up their sleeve for secret events, I don't know, but for BH3, I think the discussion is how do we get through this rather than this is what we do.
For Optic Gaming, it's their first map of the day. Let's have a little listen and see what communication's like.
Enemy victory.
One's hitting driveway. Walking driveway now. Walking driveway now.
You real, you real. Shot nice.
Yeah, one's
red, one shot.
One shot still. One shot. 3 dead.
B-side.
Nice, Abri.
Nice, Abri.
Good time,
good time.
Enemy has the ball.
Let's spin back here.
Is it gonna get weird?
Back here, Kevin.
Spin PJ, spin PJ. Two guys back here,
I'm watching across the PD, I'm watching across the PD. I have across the PD.
Okay, I'm just heading.
No, he's meno.
Enemy has the ball.
I'll play one shot septic.
He's just driving.
Fastest weak PJ. Weak.
One B back.
Enemy has the ball.
Let's guys, up ball, yeah.
Ball drop.
Spawning rail, guys, spawning rail.
One shot. Nice.
Rail weak,
Okay,
Bastos.
driveway.
One shot red alley, Bastos. One shot red alley, Bastos, absolutely.
Driveway, green.
One shot burst.
Yeah, one shot driveway. There's two bricks. Two driveway. Two driveway right now, walking up.
I found some Mo's weak planners. We kill planners. He's still there.
Nice, Abri.
Nice, Abri. I'm looking for now. Ivy?
Ammo 15.
Ivy, dead. One bottom two driveway. Driveway, one shot septic.
Missing one.
Driveway septic.
Driveway.
Yeah, drive one.
Camo coming in 5.
Back here. Ready, I have this cross. You want to run it?
Probably John's camo if we keep eyes on it.
Yeah, I'm doing G-side.
Cool, calm, composed at the comms. And for good reason, BH3 haven't really put them under any sort of pressure. Formal's got ball all the way back tram. Renegade's got camouflage. He's been aggressive on these spawners. It seems to be only a matter of moments now before they lock in round 2 and confirm map 1's victory. BH3 just have not had an answer. You look at Legend 21-5-10. It's been dominant against its familiar foes. Optic Gaming will win map number 1.
Just like a bathroom trip after a coffee, it's inevitable as Optic Gaming shut them down immediately. And they start off as we would expect. Here on the main stage for their first matchup of the day, BH3 sadly are having to go through the gauntlet, and now they come up against one of the biggest and best competitors that they could go up against when it comes to these pool play matches. And you could try and dissect that as much as you like, but it was so easy for Optic Gaming. They really controlled the game with just slays in general to like constantly have an extra player advantage, but then they were also ensuring that that pool was in a position to make BH3 have some sort of reasoning behind their push. But again, the timings for BH3 was just a little bit off the pace, as to be expected when you are a newer team as well, going up against one of the biggest and best, most practiced teams you could.
Taking a look at the damage on the map then, no surprise after the amount of kills Legend put down, 5,300 leading the lobby, but Bound was right there as well, and Formal putting in quite a lot of damage considering for most of the game he seemed to have the ball in his hands.
Just 8 minutes for that game to be done in favor of Optic Gaming. Very impressive indeed. And I do feel like it arguably could have been faster for Optic, but instead they were certainly taking some engagements that maybe they wouldn't against other teams. And I do think that's because they wanted to warm up. And I do think it was the worst game type that BH3 could have had, sadly. Optic are just so good at oddball. Because they know they have that structure, they know how to set up, but then you just let loose one of the players. It doesn't matter which one. Someone just gets the nod, just the eyes from across the map of, go on your way, son, have fun. We've got this whole map covered. You just go for a little frolic.
Cause a little bit of chaos.
And see what can happen, and then usually, you know, a double kill comes out.
Listen, son, I want you back by 10.
Yep.
Have some fun until then.
Set a little curfew. As long as Renegade's back before dark, it's okay if he goes and pulls off a double kill or so. But it is business. I was curious when we went into the listening, would they be joking? Would there be any comps at all? But Optic Gaming, very focused. Don't want to disrespect any opponent they go up against. They know that every victory is important. So we move over now to map 2 then. It's going to be Slayer Solitude. And, you know, we saw BH3 take a Slayer off of Genji earlier. You know, if you look at the series layout, this is probably the one game that maybe BH3 could take. But perhaps even that could be a stretch here. We'll have to see.
And oftentimes when you really want an underdog to cause an upset, Dan, you think, well, if they play against the higher seeded team, considering if Optic Gaming had a loss last night, that maybe you're playing them at the perfect time because they've taken a loss, maybe the confidence is a little bit low, maybe the head goes down, maybe the shoulders slump, but we've seen Optic Gaming in this very same situation last event, and they went on to win it, even losing another series and still managing to make that elimination bracket run. The problem is, Optic Gaming, although they might be down, they never seem to be out.
Yeah, point proof in just last event, right? They really went through it. I was convinced Optic were going to finish like top 8 last event, when everything had happened. And then somehow end up winning the entire thing, and one of the most memorable events we've had in some time.
I think if I'm Nemesis, I'm probably taking a 0.5 of an event win for beating Optic, beating them on map count alone. The issue is Nemesis just weren't able to pull that form together across the entire tournament. For Optic Gaming, showing great resilience, going on that run. A lot of Halo had to be played to get into that grand finals. To put Shopify Rebellion to the sword in that first best of 7 with a 4-0 sweep. That was quite the statement they made. Looking to make a very similar statement and dispatch BH3 here in game number 2. In the Slayer. It's a 4-1 opening break. Perfect for Optic Gaming.
We are seeing that typically in Slayers you've got Found and Formal who are the damage dealers, and then Legend and Renegade are the ones who pick up the kills that follow.
We have a guy holding a sign up to a stand that says Optic like to eat the corn the long way. I'm not sure, is that a euphemism I'm not familiar with in North America? Have I said something I shouldn't? Am I in trouble now?
Say long way or wrong way?
I think he said long way. My reading skills aren't what they used to be.
Now I'm wondering, was he an Optic fan or not?
One way or another, no matter what way they eat the corn, they're eating BH3 up here. 2-kill lead, already a map win in the bag. Sunrise with the help of the thruster back, trying to make himself a difficult kill, trying to move his hitbox to the side. But Renegade was there to get the kill. BH3 keeping this one scrappy, but you know, if Optic Gaming get them into a little bit of a blender, into a spawn cycle, it could spell real trouble real fast.
Trapped over towards blue now. You can see 3 of them, just actually all 4 of them. And a back-to-back, hoping that there isn't going to be an Optic push. Bound is the first one he tries to go in, but Bastos is able to get that pick. And they're still kind of stuck there, and the Optic Gaming board is now arriving. Do manage to pick up 2, so it works out as an even trade in the end, as Camouflage is now coming up, and Optic still have control of this map.
Legend drops down. He scoops up the Camouflage. And Legend, of course, all too familiar with these players, sitting across from his early parts of his career. He was playing against these players, playing against Septic, Bastos, Bows and Sunrise in those European competitions.
Everyday matchmaking as well.
Everyday matchmaking.
They were his punching bag.
They're probably all quite happy he's left, actually, as a matter of fact.
Matchmaking in ranked got a lot easier when Legend left the continent.
A lot of people see CSR as taking an awful climb.
In unless he was on your team. Now suddenly you don't get that random game where Legend's on your team. Actually, there's been a few times where I load into matchmaking and I get like a Legend or a Moze, and I'm like, why am I playing against these guys?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's the time zone difference alone. 4 dead for Optic though. The issue is down a significant amount here. 8 kills the difference. Need a lot more of that. Put that in your basket, taking a checkout. Sunrise does that, takes down Bound. It's a good win from him. And it is fascinating, Dan, the different levels that we have in the HCS. Gun skill is one thing which, trust me, BH3 have quite a lot of. But it's just so much more involved.
You see the way that Optic are playing this game, though. They are just holding forward. They are very reluctant to slow this game down and allow BH3 to have any time to think. It's another spawn and it's another chance to move forward. Legend says, hello Septic, I'll take that fight. You're a mouse and keyboard, I'm on controller. Let's make it close range instead. But Septic's doing his best to try and keep it at arm's length. In the end, Legend needs help. Terrible. Take the 1v1, you coward.
Optic have now started to pull away by a significant margin. 2 players that drop down driveway. Most of Septic will combine to get some kills. 3 dead for Optic, but a couple dead for BH3. Running out of room for error now are BH3. Running out of lives. You cannot keep throwing them down the driveway. Or up the driveway for that matter. Spawning over towards blue is Optic now. Bastos has control. Disciple has thrown 2 grenades and none of them went to its intended target.
Victory.
Formal in blue. Edged over towards Loop. Or U-turn, excuse me. Damage been done, traded back and forth, but still the kills favoring Optic Gaming, and now it seems to be only a matter of time before they double their series lead.
I do dislike the call-outs of Loop and U-turn because I think they're too similar. I've always wanted them to be a little bit more different because they could both be the same thing. They both could be a loop and they both could be a U-turn.
What would you call U-turn? Or horseshoe?
I take shoe just so that it's
shoe
one thing, or horse. Maybe shoe. That's easier to think about.
But shoe sounds like you're saying like shoot, get away from me, shoot.
You can have any call out as long as your teammates are on the same page, to be completely honest.
I think speaking of shoe, Optic Gaming are doing that to BH3. Sending them away. Trying to pack up their bags and send them back to the hotel.
Honestly, it could have taken longer for Optic Gaming to set up their equipment than it will to win this entire series with the way it's going. 1 more kill required for Optic to go 2-0 then.
Those might be that player. Over towards blue, he's done good. Done good damage, not gun dud. They're not words.
Gun dud, done good. Optic done good.
Take it top of Stoisgard.
Here we go, this will be the last one then, and it's going to be cleaned up by Foreman. And Optic Gaming take a 2-0 lead and find themselves 1 map away from 3-0 and confirming their 2nd place position in this pool and maybe a matchup with Shopify Rebellion in winners bracket round 1. Just to give you an idea of how that bracket would look if things play out how they are at the moment, where the open bracket teams are not getting a victory. You'd have Shopify versus Optic, FaZe versus SSG, Envy versus Cloud9, and TSM versus Nemesis. But with that bracket, FaZe, SSG, Shopify, and Optic would all be on the same side, which would mean either TSM, Nemesis, Envy, or Cloud9 would get top 3, guaranteed.
Well, the crazy thing about that is seeds 1, 2, 3, 4 all play each other. As we lock into Z10 up against Unreal Nightmare, you were speaking about if the open bracket teams were to get a victory. Well, hang on just a second.
But I don't think it would affect the bracket, though, because this is more likely to be a situation where if Unreal Nightmare, they might be able to get into the elimination bracket side of things if they take down Zero Tenacity. However, Z10 do have a 3-kill lead here as we're into Game 5. Chick on 17 kills. Z10, their backs are against the wall. Remember, if Z10 were to lose this, that would be them eliminated from the competition. They'd be 0-3, right? So a chance to just force your way into the championship bracket. I mean, Envor has often been the one who plays a situation where he takes down those European squads. We've seen it time and time again. And he'd do it once more.
He has traditionally been the European Reaper at times. We've seen tweets from the Zero Tenacity players last night saying, need to be better, will be better tomorrow. Well, now is your moment. You're ahead by 5 in the end game now. The nail biter here for Europe. For Unreal Nightmare, just to keep their championship bracket hopes alive.
The game just slows down a little bit. You could feel the nerves actually just with watching Chick. He doesn't want to give up this sniper rifle. Knows he's got some big shots to hit. Super CC evades the sniper shot. Or at least the headshot anyway. And will live to at least try and flank round, but kills are coming elsewhere. 45 to 38 now. RZ10 on that final stretch.
Things looking a lot more comfortable now than they were just a few moments ago. 4 kills required. Seeka's got 1. Jimbo will fall though. 3 remaining, make it 2. Beautiful double kill from Chick. We've seen him pop off with this weapon time and time again. Final kill required, then spawning over towards red. Chick might just jump up onto the spoiler here, hit the clamber. Gunfights happening everywhere. Jimbo comes in with the big boomsticks and gets that final kill. Zero Tenacity's blushes are spared, and they will be in the elimination bracket.
But sadly for Unreal Nightmare, that will be the end of their journey. Zero Tenacity, though, will get a second chance in the championship bracket, but of course, as you mentioned, through the elimination is the road they will have to take. Optic Gaming are on their way to the winners bracket right now. All they have to do is take one more map off of BH3, and with how comfortable the first 2 have been, I think it might be inevitable at this point. But CTF Origin, I'm always excited to see. I've not had the opportunity to cast much CTF Origin, because often it's just not really felt that way with the series that we've covered.
The issue and the concern I do have is I have seen these games go by very quickly if one team gets the weapons, gets the setups they need. That's what BH3 have got to try and stop here and have some sort of influence. They've been playing reactionary Halo all series long. Doesn't look like their fortunes are going to change here, because Optic Gaming don't seem to be in any mood to drop a map.
I'm excited to see how Optic play this one. How quickly they get these flags across. We're underway. And at the moment, Renegade's job is just to stop those rockets falling in the hands of the side of BH3. Gets assistance as well from Bound. That's going to be 3 dead. Make it 4. The first is spawned, but the rocket's now going to be in the hands of Renegade.
Renegade had the rockets on the table for a moment. I think they're pretty much like shoes. You shouldn't have rockets on tables. Renegade goes down. Moses in the back base. Heads up play from Renegade. That snipe shot comes from the window from Bound. The flag will continue to move. Bound will continue to find faces. Might just land one on the Bastos as well. Renegade's made this flag all the way back to his own base with very little threat. Optic Gaming take the lead.
55 seconds. That's how long it took for the first flag. Optic brutal with their pushes. As soon as they got 4 down, they knew they could just get aggressive, get into that base, and even though Mose tried as he did survive in the back of the base, he was spotted as well. And Formal already knows that someone's going to be arriving as 4 are dead yet again. And Renegade says, well, I've done all of the job getting back to the flag. Let's just run another one here.
Been very little in the way of resistance. 2 go in a minute 30. It's a relay race at the moment.
We're on Goose Watch.
At what point do Optic just consider padding the stats? You have the opportunity here. Or do they want to get this series done and dusted? They can start to consider what might be in front of them. They want to put BH3 in the rearview mirror.
Get it done and dusted. Give yourself a little bit of a break before winners bracket round 1 so you can freshen up. Get some snacks. The energy drink or whatever helps you. Some caffeine, coffee, tea.
Now you're just naming things.
Good English breakfast tea. Massage.
We had to find one this morning, actually. Couple
Massage?
of sugars. No, English breakfast tea.
We did.
Nice.
Tempting does get his first kill on the board, so now the game is more than welcome to finish. I didn't want to see anyone with a 0.
Our morning has been a little bit more pleasant than BH3's have.
It's a tough watch. It's always difficult difficult as the open team, especially coming into a group like this as well. And there were signs against Gen G that like maybe BH3 could have done something, but I think as soon as they lost that series against Gen G, it was always a possibility that it could have been this road where you sadly go up against a very hot TSM, and we know what Optic are capable of as well. BH3 are not giving up though. You can see they are still trying to force their way into Optic's base here.
And this wouldn't really be the series that you'd expect BH3 to be hanging their hat on and, oh, if we lose against Optic, it's the end of the world. That's the expected result here. Septic has rockets though, so maybe they can put one flag on the board and start to build something. Snipe shot will find the face from Bastos. That's much better. Rocket goes down, 2 dead now. Renegade's on grass. The information should get passed along. Sunrise will drop down to try and keep Bastos alive. Legend gets a kill elsewhere. We're going to need to see a fresh round of slays. Formal spawns back base. So much pressure coming onto Bastos. He's forced to back away. And all that pressure, all that map control they started to put together is completely gone now.
Finally does tag the body of Legend, but falls whilst he does so. I will say Optic are very fearless with their challenges onto BH3. You know, if you know that Frosty's around the corner with a sniper rifle, are you running at him on spawn, or are you trying to make a different route to try and catch him off guard? 3 dead for BH3. The Optic fans have started to come to life here at DreamHack Dallas.
Oh, Mose. Mose has lost that fight at the elbow when he really shouldn't have. Renegade gets the reversal. He almost got another kill as well. Only a matter of time, it would seem. Bastos might have naded himself there as well. We've seen a bit of that so far in this tournament. Septic's venturing forward, trying to clear out his base. Gets the kill on the Legend. 2 dead now. They have no problem being able to get the kills, but getting into the base and getting the flag on the move seems to be a different task entirely.
Renegade does get called out, and they will be able to hunt him down. So this is certainly better from BH3, but go 2 flags down that early on, like just climbing an absolute mountain now. This next set of rockets could help them generate some sort of push to get a cap. Sadly, they got the kills just before rockets are going to be spawning, so it will give the opportunity for Optic to maybe get them. Yeah, there's going to be Renegade waiting for them again. Does get spotted out, but I think he's got away with him.
He lives.
He lives!
The Demon's got the rockets. Not anymore though. Mose puts him away. Bound will prioritize pushing forward for the flag instead. Will not be doubling back for the rockets. Looking to play a little bit of defense. Sunrise just about stays alive, gets around the corner with the rockets. Fortunately for him, he needs to use them as an offensive tactic instead of defensive. Because his flag captures they need here. Can he start playing a bit more risk?
Every corner he walks around, there's an Optic player just waiting, eyes trained. Bandit at the ready. Legend might be able to catch him off guard here, but he's been spotted out as well. Does get the rocket out, but Bound just able to skip over it. Here we go.
Renegade could be about to have a lot of fun here. First shot's a swing and a miss. Renegade knows when his number is punched, decides to get himself out of dodge, wait for some teammates. Nades hit the maze, but don't do any damage. Full shields, Bound and Legend combined to get a couple of kills. Mose could be about to and is about to fall. Septic is alive though, in the enemy basement. He is cleared out now. This should be the last and final run. And the last and final run for BH3. Their tournament will be over as Optic Gaming slam in their final flag. It's a clean sweep on the main stage.
Optic Gaming give the Green Wall something to applaud. It wasn't the perfect pool play situation for them, but they will still progress into the championship bracket. But again, it is going to be a tough road. It is likely a matchup against Shopify Rebellion that they will find themselves in. As for BH3, we still have to give them credit for breaking into pool play from open bracket. It will be a top 16 finish for them. Again, still a step up from what they were able to achieve in Arlington. And now the question is going to be for them looking forward, how do we make it a little bit more competitive when we do get into those pools? What have we learned from this event? But for Optic Gaming, that was easy breezy. And now, this is when things start to get a little bit more difficult as the championship bracket loops.
So BH3 definitely trending in the right direction, seeing progress, seeing growth. Can they carry that forward into the next event? Will they learn even more? Can they continue that trend? But for Optic Gaming, business as usual, Dan, getting the job done, and now their attentions turn to who they'll be playing in that winner's side of the bracket. And it looks as though it's going to be Rebellion.
But you can see that Optic are staying seated, and for good reason, because Optic will be on our main stage again when we start up the show for the championship bracket. Of course, we need confirmation from elsewhere as to who they'll be playing, but as we believe, it would be Shopify Rebellion with how the seeds work. There's just a little bit of damage for you and how that went down. I mean, it was actually a little bit of a fight back from BH3 in that game. After 2-0, after just minutes, I thought it was going to be a blowout, but some life for BH3 and something to go off for sure. Can take a lot away from this series. And all three of these series, to be completely honest, sure, it might not have been as competitive as they would have liked by this one, but once you get to the third series, after coming into pool play, you're always going to be a little bit tired, probably a little bit hungry as well. I think all of their chances was probably on that Gen G series, and they gave it a good effort, just couldn't quite get there.
And it's a lesson for them in how clinical the top teams are. When they create those openings, they find those opportunities to capitalize on them. And the open bracket teams just are not as cutthroat. They haven't got that killer instinct just yet. They leave openings for the opposition, and when you do that with teams the caliber of Optic Gaming, they will punish you. And we've seen that in this series. Optic Gaming looking pretty good, and the perfect series for them to start their morning.
Optic Gaming looking pretty good against an open team, but how will they fare when they start to play the big boys in the championship bracket? I think they're going to be very disappointed that they lost to TSM, but at the same time, they also know if they want to win this tournament, they have to beat everyone in front of them anyway. Certainly did it the hard way back in Arlington. So I don't think they'll be too disheartened that they come through pool play in second place, but it certainly will shake up the bracket. It gives a fantastic opportunity to some of those other teams that I mentioned earlier, the likes of TSM, Envy, Cloud9, and Nemesis, maybe to make a run and get that top 3 finish. Remember, the last time we saw this TSM roster as a 4, they did finish top 3 back at that World Championship years ago. Can they go on to do it again after taking down Optic Gaming in pool play?
And in one way, shape, or form, they all thought the grass might have been greener if they ventured off and splintered away and tried to build something else, make a name for themselves elsewhere. And they've ultimately found that the power of friendship is what everyone is saying for this team. The chemistry is just that good that they have to stick as the 4, and maybe that's where the recipe for success is going to be.
We're excited to see what happens when the championship bracket does begin here at DreamHack Dallas, because we have some incredible games that are likely to be happening. Once we do get that confirmation of all of the pool play results, I think we'll have a better idea of it. But yeah, you do not want to miss any of the action today. It's going to be amazing.
Well, speaking of that amazing action, we have Optic Gaming up against Shopify Rebellion next. Grab yourself a cup of tea and a snack, depending on where you are, maybe a soda. Don't go anywhere, folks. We've got some serious championship bracket coming your way.